Good morning, everybody. I hope you guys are doing fantastic. I hope you guys are excited for a really excellent presentation today. I know I am. I am joined by my co-host today, John Palumbo, world-renowned traveler and digital nomad. He's going to be speaking to us all about real estate, specifically in Brazil. This is going to be an amazing presentation. I'm super stoked for this. And we got something really special for you at the end of it. So make sure you guys stay to the very end so that you guys can hear that. Couple of ground rules today. This is for now, a phones off meeting. Okay. So please go ahead, put your phone on silent. I'm going to have you turn it on later, but I don't want you scrolling through Flakebook or anything like that while we're presenting. Number two, we are going to be doing a bathroom break in about an hour or so. So you don't need to duck out in the middle of the presentation. We've already built it in for today. So don't worry about that. Number three, if you have a spouse in the other room, please go and grab them, sit them down so that they can watch this presentation. Any other decision maker in the house, go grab them because it's going to be super important. John, do you want to say hello, introduce yourself, and then I'm going to go ahead and turn off my video and my microphone in just a minute.
Yes. Good morning, Mikhail. You made a good point about going to grab your spouse or your significant other because, I think you know this as well as I do, as many times as I've done this. People end up having to have their spouse or significant other watch it again. How can they get it again? Because they say there were so many things and they went so fast. And I wish you could have heard what he had to say about this or what Mikhail said about that. So just grab them now, and it saves you having to go back through and watch it again, because we are going to cover a lot of information. And it does go a little bit quick because we don't want to drag on for forever and ever just rambling. So I know that what I've got, in store for you is going to be a lot of very relevant information. And you might even want to grab your pen and piece of paper to jot some of the things down, because I'm going to give you a lot of good information on this particular webinar that just has to do with everything with as far as global real estate, not just what we're talking about today, but just about anything you can think of. I'm going to answer a lot of questions. So
amazing. Well, I'm looking forward to the presentation, John. And it was so awesome to see you here in Panama in March for my birthday. If anybody came to the birthday party, they will have had a chance to meet John. John's a very good friend of mine for many years. He's come over to visit me multiple times. Really smart individual. He's been on the podcast. He spoke at the conference, at the summit. 3 years now in a row, 4 years, something like that. So lots of experience. I will leave it there because I'm just going to assume that a lot of my audience already know you and your background, but I'm going to mute myself and turn off my video. Knock 'em dead.
Well, there we go. And good morning, everybody. Welcome to this special segment that we're about to do. And, I want to start off by asking, why venture out of the backyard? As you know, this is called, Beyond the Backyard. And as I thought about it, and as I was talking with Mikhail, I thought a lot of people that will watch a webinar like this, they either have bought real estate or they're considering buying real estate. And it's a matter of whether or not, do I want to buy something that's, a couple of miles from home, or do I want to venture outside of my backyard, so to speak, and look to the other parts of the world? And I know how that feels because for many years, I also wanted to buy outside of the United States, but I had a fear of doing it. And I'm going to talk about that in just a few minutes and talk about why we should consider outside of the backyard. For me, it had a lot to do with just simple adventure. For those of you that have heard my story before, I started my first purchase outside the United States with, believe it or not, a timeshare. No, I didn't feel comfortable spending $200,000 or $300,000 on a piece of real estate. And so I felt like, well, I could buy a timeshare. And the timeshare worked great for a year or two. And I used it and it worked. But I knew that I needed more than 1 week out of the year to go to my so-called new adventure. And so from there, I began looking. I did a lot of homework. I looked at everything from for sale by owners to new construction. And there's something about new construction that attracts me personally. And I really like new construction because so many things are answered and so many of the dangers are taken care of, the things that I'm going to talk about this morning in what you're looking at. So adventure has a lot to do with it. I just wanted to be able to have the freedom to get outside of the country whenever I wanted to, and to combine successful investing with travel. And so I'm going to assume for just a moment, a lot of you that are watching this morning enjoy travel, or you wouldn't even be here. And you've either traveled a lot and thought of buying something, or traveled a lot and have bought something. And so with that, the first question that kind of comes to mind is, why Brazil? Personally, I have bought property all over the world, and I've done property investments in Africa and Europe. I've done things in Greece. I've done things in Poland. I've done things in Spain. I sometimes have to think about them, Mexico. And so all of these things add up to what I bring to the table today. It's just the experience of what it takes to get past that stump of what does it take for me to want to spend my money and go outside of the country. And so I'm going to ask you a question, and I want you to think about it for only a second. I'm not going to sit around on it forever, but when I say the word Brazil, what is the first city that comes to your mind? Now, a lot of you could be thinking Sao Paulo, and of course you can see there's a spectacular picture of Sao Paulo. Most of you, and most of the time when I talk to people, this is the city that comes to mind, Rio de Janeiro. Of course, it's been popularized in movies, it's been romanticized, and everything about it, we have seen all the many years that this is Brazil, Rio de Janeiro, all the partying, all the things that happen down there. But between these two cities alone, there are more than 40 million people. That's a lot of people, as they have grown exponentially over the years. And, when you see a city this size, I sometimes will think of New York or Chicago and where we are. And then someone will ask me, they say, are you scared going down there? Is there a problem there? We hear there's crime, or I read on the internet how much crime there is there. Let me just share with you my experience. There is crime everywhere. And in this particular city, it's no different than anywhere else. So if you look up in the upper right-hand corner, and if you go to this street at 3 o'clock in the morning, I can assure you there's going to be a problem. But I could show you that in any city USA. There's parts of the cities you don't need to go to. For the most part, these cities are vibrant. They are doing well, and there's just not that big a problem for tourists that are going here. So let me share with you a little bit about why Northeast Brazil. When you look at this picture, it is just spectacular with the waves, the beaches, and the structures that are there, and the ability to utilize specifically, I had too much coffee this morning, Fortaleza, Serra, and the surrounding areas. I mean, these beaches are just gorgeous when you look at them. And so I want to give you an idea of Fortaleza and Rio de Janeiro. There's about 1,300 miles between them. And so by correlation, to give you an idea of map-wise what you're looking at, it's almost the same as going a little north of New York down to Miami or the Keys. It's a little over 1,000 miles down there. So that gives you an idea distance-wise what you're talking about just between Fortaleza and Rio, the south of there. South America's best kept secret is what I'm about to share with you in the next few minutes. Fortaleza. Most of you, unless you've heard me talk before, have never even heard of Fortaleza. But when you look at this booming small metropolis, you can see why it has started to grow and grow exponentially with what's happening with vacationers and tourism. And so it has a natural beauty. I'm now showing you some pictures just outside of Fortaleza, only a few minutes, not that far away. It's 3.72 degrees south of the equator. So the location, as you're about to see, is spectacular. It's a consistent climate year-round throughout the year, all year long, 75 to 87 degrees. So what does that mean to you? It means if you are considering investing in an area like this, you're looking at almost year-round capabilities to rent, which increases the rental demands. Unlike in the United States, for instance, I live in Florida. Florida has a couple of different seasons. You've got the summer season, you've got the winter season. In the winter seasons, down south, it's busy, but in the summer season, it's not that busy. And in the northern part of Florida, it's exactly reversed. So you have seasons that are almost dead, and you have seasons that are booming. In Fortaleza, you have a consistent year-round temperature, which gives them a far more levelized operating format for rentals. Year-round ocean breezes, which is one of the reasons most of the Brazilians don't even use air conditioning, especially in this part of the world. This is a question, Mikhail, as I have listened to some of the other countries and some of the things people will always ask afterwards. They'll ask about floods, they'll ask about hurricanes, they ask about earthquakes and fires. None of this, no history of any of this in the Fortaleza area. And not only that, tornadoes, tsunamis, landslides, volcanic activities. I know these sound kind of crazy, but nowadays we're hearing about it almost every day on the news in some part of the world. Volcanoes, we're hearing about them everywhere, tsunamis, tornadoes, hurricanes. The big one, the big question that I am asked regularly is, of course, this one, hurricanes. And the hurricanes, when they spin off of South Africa, normally they're bypassing this area completely before they build up any strength. And so that's one of the reasons we just don't see them here at all. And I don't mean rarely, I mean never. The locals are really just such wonderful people. Every time I've been down there, people are helpful. People are always willing to help. And here's a big question I always get asked. Do I need to speak Portuguese? And by the way, if you thought Brazil was a Spanish-speaking country, it's Portuguese is the language that is spoken there. And I don't think you need to know Portuguese. I don't have any problem, and I don't speak Portuguese. And one of the reasons is people will ask me, they say, well, if you're going down there and you're doing work down there and you're owning property there, why wouldn't you speak Portuguese? I said, well, I go to Greece, I go to Morocco, I go to Spain, and each one of those, there's one is Arabic, one is Greek, one is Spanish. And I said, by the time I'm jumping around to all the places that I've bought over the years, I just can't pick which one I want to learn. But here's what I've discovered. English is still a pretty universal language. And in Fortaleza, there's no difference. Most of the people either speak very good English or enough English to get you by. You will not have a problem there at all speaking the language. The next big question is why now? What makes this area so popular now? Well, in the scheme of the path of progress, Fortaleza has picked up its pace in the last few years. And I'll share with you in just a few minutes what has caused that pace to pick up. It's a growing expat community. More and more Americans are beginning to realize they can come to Brazil and live a pretty damn good lifestyle at so much less than what it costs in the United States. We have infrastructure advancements that are happening here with the new airport expansions, the new roadways, the new office buildings. Even the airport, you can tell, has one of the more modern structures in the whole country right here. It's just been built. The lounges there. So if you travel a lot like me and you're utilizing airport lounges, these become important. I like to know I've got a nice lounge so I can get to the airport early. And when I'm leaving, I can get there early and I can relax and enjoy myself. 32 airports at this time have direct flights into Fortaleza, Orlando, Miami, Paris, Lisbon. But that's right now. Prior to COVID, it was almost triple that. And so that is slowly coming back. I think it's one of the opportunities right now. And as more and more flights and airlines resume their flights into this area as they see the growth patterns, I think that's one of the things that's going to open this area to more and more growth, especially when you see what I have to share in the next few minutes. And so, as you can see, these are places that are coming in from all over. A lot of times you may catch more expensive flights in direct in, but you can get flights in where you'll go through Sao Paulo or you'll go through Rio, and you can get really good fares going into these areas. But here's the key. There's a booming tourism happening right now in Fortaleza and the Brazil markets. And even Airbnb says it's one of the number one trending destinations for family travel this Memorial Day. Now, when I say the key word here is family travel, I'm not real keen on some of these places that are picking up the craziness of spring break and the college breaks. And it's just alcohol driven. There's no families there because the families can't really go. This area is one of the best family travel destinations in South America right now. Brazil was awarded the 2027 Women's World Cup. And the currency exchange rates right now are running right at about 5.2. Now, I know somebody is probably going to look up on their phone or their computer to see exactly what it was. You got to remember, I did this a few days ago, so it could have changed by a point or two, but it's hovering right in the 5 Brazilian reals for every $1. If you're not really on top of conversions and what's happening with the conversion, let me just make it simple for you. That is extremely good. You cannot really beat this exchange rate right now. For every $1, you're going to get 5 of the Brazilian real dollars. And that's what it's equivalent of. Let me give you an example. The cost of living index. Look at where the United States is. Look at where the China, the UK, Russia, Germany, France, Japan, look at where these other countries are. And then look at Brazil. Brazil is almost half, and maybe even a little more than half of what it costs just to live in the United States. So the cost of living index there is excellent. If you're looking for a place for your dollar to stretch for as far as it can, that's where the dollar is going right now. It's one of the things that attracted me to this area. And of course, the potential for capital appreciation. That means the ability to buy something at the right price on this path of progress and be able to see crystal clearly when you buy it. I feel like it's going to go up in value over the years. There's things and places in growth markets that you don't see that in. Right now, this is a growth market, and it's clear to see it. You'll see it in the next few minutes. There are areas right here in the surrounding areas of Fortaleza where you can get some spectacular homes. And let me give you an example. When you look at this in Fordham for $1.3 million, a home like that in Miami might cost you closer to $5 million. The same thing with the one just below it, the one that's at $1.1 million. It might cost you upwards of $4.5 million in a place like Miami, Lauderdale, Boca Raton, Naples, Florida, any of those areas. And so I know these are big numbers, but I just want you to get an idea. There are some spectacular homes here. It's Traveler's Choice Awards Best of 2024. Fortaleza was really on the top of the tourism list, and there's a reason why. There's a brand new 5-star hotel Villa Sogum, which is just right down the street from where we are building development right now. And so when resorts like this look to build on these beaches, which are a little more secluded, there's no big 20 and 30 story high rises here. Everything is just nice, quiet, and simple. It gives you an idea of what they see as far as tourism coming. 5-star hotels located on some of the most spectacular beaches in the world. And there they are. You can see them, what they look like. And so one of the reasons I wanted to bring this message to you today is because it is an opportunity to be ahead of the curve. Now, I think a lot of times people talk about being ahead of the curve. It's like wanting to be a contrarian investor and want to buy against the market. Everybody wants to do that, but it's not as easy as it sounds, especially when you have international destination markets like Tulum, Lisbon, the Greek islands, Saint-Tropez. These are hot areas right now. And this tends to be the bright and shiny object on the radar screen. This tends to draw the people. This tends to bring people in masses. And when people buy, they're paying top dollar in these areas. And I can assure you, if any of you that are listening to me this morning have been to these markets, you're probably shaking your head right now going, yes, they are. I can remember Tulum 15 years ago. If you had bought in Tulum 15 years ago, you probably would have tripled your money today. And the same thing in the Greek islands. I have a home in Greece, and I bought it, 10, 12 years ago, when the market was at an absolute low. And when I say low, what I mean was properties had just devalued. They were even thinking of throwing Greece out of the euro because their economy was so bad. But remember, we're not looking at the economies as much as we're looking at the values of the real estate that we can purchase and where it's going. And so when you see these markets like this and you see that they are the bright and shiny object on the radar screens, I just call it too late. I'll give you an example. Kiplinger Magazine, Barron. When you read about the hot stock tips, when they tell you the mutual funds that are doing really well, and one that did, 12, 15, 20%, and that these are great funds to invest in, it's too late. I don't know where your investment ideology is, but I can tell you, I have yet to be able to read these magazines, see one of these mutual funds, which, by the way, I don't put any money into those. Everything that I do is in real estate because I feel it like at least I can control it. And if the markets go boom, I'm still in charge of it. But when you look at these magazines, they are only telling you where it's already happened, not where it's going most of the time. So we want to look for undiscovered areas of the world. And I think this is something that Mikhail is an absolute master of, the ability to spot areas that have a potential upswing, that have a growth curve ahead of them, and the ability to see where the market is going versus the bright and shiny objects. I'm sure if I asked Mikhail right now, Mikhail, do you think that some of these places that I just mentioned are hot items? The answer would be yeah, but you're also paying top dollar. The artistry, the mastery comes in, the ability to select good areas in the path of progress that leads you to, you know, see where the markets are going, and the ability to know that you can see appreciation in what you're investing in. I want to share with you a little bit about the company that is doing the development work I'm going to share you with in just a moment, Empower. They've been around since 1999. These are the three brothers and that took the company over from their father, operating in Fortaleza for the last many years. 25 years of operating with zero unfinished products. Now, you might be thinking, what does that mean? What does zero unfinished products mean? If you've done traveling anywhere in the world, and I'll just use Mexico, but it could be anywhere in Central America and even some places in South America, you see houses that have concrete wall or concrete columns up, and that's it. And they're scattered all over the roadsides where people start something and they don't have the money to finish it. They're everywhere. In all of these countries, you see those. This company has zero unfinished products sitting anywhere, which is a big plus. Zero scandals, meaning no problems with lawsuits, none of that going on here. And here's something else that's really important. Same tax ID, same family for more than 25 years. And so when you look at those things, and I think that's a lot of what you look at, Mikhail, when you're deciding whether or not you're going to be a part of a webinar or have someone like us on to share what we're doing. These type things become very important because there are, for every one company like what I'm talking about right now, there are 100 companies that have been started in the last 3 or 4 years. No long track records, but they sound like they are experts, but they just don't have the same track records as this company. And here's a key element: debt-free status, meaning nothing is owed to banks and they are debt-free, which means they are able to move freely and do things differently than most builder developers. A family legacy that literally means you can trust them. These are products. These are pictures that I've taken when I was down there. These are some bungalows that we did last year. And you can see what the views look like. These have small little pools. They're looking right out into the ocean, and they're just gorgeous. They're just little villas that offer you quietness, serenity, but more importantly, they're great rental properties. From an ecological footprint, the developer here takes everything differently than what is done in the United States. When you're building products in the US, almost anything you see being built is going to be done with a shingle asphalt roof, Formica plastic countertops, and synthetic carpets. None of that is done here in Brazil. Everything is done eco-friendly and sustainable. Locally produced tile roofs, locally sourced granite countertops in the kitchens and bathrooms, and regionally tiled floors or polished concrete floors in all of the homes. So that you're getting far better products than what you would get even being done in the United States with those cheaper products. Wind and solar produced renewable energy is used everywhere in Brazil. And so it's a very energy conscious country. When you go there, and the reason that I'm saying this with this simple picture, the exceptional air quality, when I would wake up in the morning, it was noticeable, the air I was breathing and the exceptional quality of it. It's one of those you just wake up in the morning and you're just like, almost like you do on a vacation, but It's just so spectacular to breathe this fresh air that is being produced. Here's another big thing that attracts people to this area is the ecotourism. And so, unlike the cities that have got all of this bright and shiny object stuff going on, ecotourism is the number one tourism in this area in the market that people like to enjoy. Boating, horseback riding, the ability to walk on the beaches. And not only that, let me back up for a second. This is the windsurfing capital of the world. And yes, you can Google it. Yes, you can look it up. It is a constant breeze year round here. And windsurfing is, they come from all over the world to utilize these constant breezes in doing that. When you consider ownership and consider whether or not what I'm going to share with you in the next few minutes might be something that interests you, there are timing opportunities. There's pre-construction. That means buying it before it's ever built. There's during construction, which means you get to see it being built. Sometimes this makes people feel a little more comfortable. I can tell you, when you buy during construction, you're going to pay more for it. And post-construction. In post-construction, it's completely finished. You walk up, you touch it, you feel it. Now, if you want to buy any of the products that this company has built post-construction, it's possible, but you're going to be buying those from individuals, more than likely not from the developer themselves, because those will have all been sold at an event similar to this. And now these people are reselling them a few years later, and they're seeing the difference between that, what they paid, and the appreciation in the properties. So there's the differences. So you probably have already figured out when the best time to buy is in pre-construction. That's when you're going to get your best value. So let me just share with you a little bit about the Reserve Beachfront condos. I'm excited about this project because it's one of the nicest ones. One thing about a company that builds products like this, each time they do it, they get a little better, a little better, a little better, improving design, improving on what's being done, improving locations as we listen to customers more and more, their wants and needs. So the Reserve at the beach is going to be a very simple but very cool place. As you can see, these face directly out to the ocean. And yes, this is exactly what it will look like. And you'll be able to park right out in front, walk right up to your unit. This is the site itself. The land has been cleared, the infrastructure is in place. And so when you're thinking about, could I ever own a place at the beach? Because for me, that has always been a very high priority to me, to be able to see water. And I think for people vacationing, if they're going to go 40 or 50 miles or 500 or 1,000 miles, 90% of the time, this is what they want to see. This is what they want to look at. All of these units are identical with ocean views. Let me be clear here, because when we talk about ocean views, a lot of times people will sell properties that have a view of the ocean, or it's a side view, or you can get a glimpse of the water. That is not what's happening here. What is happening is, as you can see, there are 30 units here. Every one of them faces directly out. It's not a side view where you've got to tilt your head to see the water. You can literally wake up in bed and look right out and see the ocean. In fact, I'll show you a picture of that in just a moment. The completion of these units will be in June of 26. And let's take a look at just some of the amenities. Pool, you'll be able to look right out to the ocean while you're swimming. And here's the floor plan. It's simple. It gets the job done. It's a one-bedroom studio with a bedroom, a bathroom, a kitchen, a living area, and then a nice large balcony. This is where most of the vacationers will spend their time, sitting on the balcony, looking right out to the ocean, having their coffee, tea, or libations, wine, whatever in the afternoons. But you've got a spectacular view here. Each home, each unit has 375 square feet, which is really all that's needed for the typical vacationer when they go down there. It's larger than the standard hotel room. Hotel room is typically going to be about 200 or 250 square feet. So you've got more room than a hotel room, but you've got just what you need to be able to go, relax, sit on the ocean, and enjoy yourself. These will give you some ideas of what one looks like. Again, simplicity of a bedroom, a living room, a kitchen, bathroom. This is where people are spending their time, right at the beach, swimming in the pool, walking on these beaches, which, by the way, are not crowded. I wish I had a picture to show you some of the beaches like in Miami or the beaches in Lauderdale or the beaches in Naples. They're packed. They're packed with people. Now, I know some people like that. And if you like that, I'm not criticizing it. It's not my cup of tea. This is more my cup of tea. I like the quietness. I like the serenity. I like spectacular places that I can breathe the fresh air and take a walk on the beach and hardly run into anybody. And so this is with the hot tub, a view of the pool again, looking straight out to the ocean, spectacular views. The big question a lot of people ask me, so do they come furnished? The answer is no, they don't come furnished, but a full furniture and appliance package and AC packages are available and make them completely rent ready for about $10,000. And I know some people will say $10,000 doesn't look like there's that much furniture there. There is more than what you think. That also includes the AC system. The AC does not come with this. And so a lot of times I know in the United States, we can't fathom buying anything without an AC system. But let me just share this with you. In Brazil, they don't use it that much. So it's just not necessary. I guess the AC is put in for our benefit more than the local. But I can tell you this, most of your rentals are going to be Brazilians. And some markets coming in internationally as the market grows over the next few years, but a lot of it is coming up from Sao Paulo and from Rio. And yes, I have met and talked to these people when I'm down there and I'm staying at various places. I'm asking people where they're from, and that's where they're coming from. So it's the equivalent. Let me just see if I can help you here. It's the equivalent of the people that are coming down from New York and Chicago and going down south into Florida. You have to remember, Brazil is south of the equator. So when you go north, it gets warmer. When you go south, it gets colder. So the further south you go, the cooler it gets. The further north you go, the warmer it gets. But it's the same thing. So the people from Rio and Sao Paulo, to get away from that massive 45 million people, they're now starting to venture out to come to these areas for their vacations. And so this, again, just gives you, this is what the view is going to look like. This is not a possible or maybe. You're going to look straight out from your bed, straight out to the beach, and people that are renting from you, this is what they're going to see. Just minutes away from Canoa, which is the small town that services this area, a spectacular, really cool little town. And I'll give you an idea. This would be what they call their equivalent of Fifth Avenue. And of course, it's not going to have Saks or Nordstrom's or any of that on it, but it's going to have Brazil's finest as far as restaurants and places to eat. These are the beaches that are right next to the town of Canoa. Now, this is a similar beach which you would look out and see from your home there. But these are things that I pulled from Google. When I say I pulled, my assistant pulled from Google. And these are not things that I wrote, by the way. These are things that you look up, you'll see. Great, clean, wide beaches, beaches with lots of opportunities for recreational activities is highly recommended. And by the way, when my assistant was getting some of these together, I said, don't just pick the good ones. If you see something that's a little bit negative, I want to put it in. And she says to me, I don't really see any negative ones. Now, I asked for some negative just because I didn't want to seem like it was just all wonderful, 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 just because I think so. So I just pulled a few of them. Great, clean, wide beaches, bars, lots of opportunities for activities. And so these are just what other people had to say. Excellent. One of the most beautiful, if not most. I loved it so much, and I want to go back there more often. And yes, you can find these on Google if you look for them. Paradise Beach. That's what a lot of people have to say. Spectacular beaches, just the quietness, the serenity. And I know a lot of times, Mikhail, when you've done some of these, people will ask about organic food and what's the food like. Everything's coming fresh from the ocean right there. Yes, organic is everywhere there. And so you can get fantastic vegetable. This is pictures, a shot right in the little town of Canoa. And so this is what it's like. We had lunch here, not just once, but a few times when I was there, because it's a really nice place. The food is fantastic. This is sort of the nightlife coming down what, again, I'll call it Fifth Avenue. But what it's like in the evenings with people eating, drinking, small clubs with music. And you can see how peaceful this environment is. And you can see just how beautiful it is for to just stroll down here, even in the evening with the cool breezes. What I enjoy, I will admit, I'm a foodie. And, sometimes I think, where's Anthony Bourdain when I need him? These are Johnny's recommendations. But, if you call me, I'm going to give you some of the best places down there to eat if you go. If you should say, I want to go down there and see what is there, you won't even need me. You'll be able to just stumble onto them yourself. This is just what the food looks like. When I finish these presentations, I leave and I'm ready for lunch. So, every time I show these, this is a great little restaurant right on the beach. I love going down here. You just park your car, walk right over to it. And so this gives you an idea of just the area and what you're looking at. These are pictures that I've taken. This is one of the windsurfers or kite surfers, if I'm saying it right. And these are going all the time, unless the wind gets too strong. But you can get one of these, you can go up and down the coastline with them. It's just fun. And they're going all the time because this area, being the surf capital of the world, does bring these great winds in all the time. So it gives this a great business opportunity for the people that run these. And of course, here's some of the public beaches right there in Kanoa. But let's talk about some more facts about the development itself for a moment. The HO fees are running about $120 a month. Those are typically set by the owners, but that's what you're looking at when you get into it. Here's a big question that a lot of people want to know. So if I have one of these, what is the security like? 24/7 on-site security. That means someone is there all the time, watching, guarding, keeping an eye on your property, keeping an eye on what's happening, making sure things are stable. Maintenance of the common areas and landscaping is all taken care of for you. And potable water, high-speed internet. I know that's a big question that people will ask. Is there good internet there? And the answer is it's excellent internet is there. It's hard to not have it nowadays, but a lot of times people think when you go outside of the United States, they're wondering, do you have internet? You couldn't survive. I don't even know that we could sell these if we didn't have internet. I guess we could. But I don't think people would buy anything. If I didn't have internet, I'd go crazy. I need it, even though it's a relaxing thing for me. And so professionally managed, the entire development is taken care of for you. If you're in the rental program, and I assume if anyone were to purchase something here, you would put it into the rental program. Marketing, advertising, all done for you. Maintenance and cleaning taken care of for you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Reservations, rent collections, all done for you. You don't have to do anything. Checking in, checking out, and basically, I like to call it a just set it and forget it business. That's what you're looking at, a simple cash flow that will take care of itself. And you can have the money sent to you back in the United States, or you can leave it in a bank account there in Brazil. That's your choice. You have the freedom to choose whichever way you want to do it, and freedom from typical rental headaches. This kind of takes me back to the backyard for a moment. I have bought property in my backyard, and I have to say, I say the typical headaches of collecting the rent, making the repairs, taking care of properties. If you've owned rental property, you know what I'm talking about. We have taken that completely out of the equation. When you own something like this, that is not even a worry for you any further. Oftentimes we'll get questions about residency, and I'll talk about that in a few minutes. And I think, Mikhail, if you want to chime in on it later on when I'm finished, we can talk about it. But getting permanent residency here is going to be unbelievably easy. Brazil, as of right now, and I think, Mikhail, you can echo this, it could change anytime in the next few years. So many countries are upping the antes. But listen to this one. $140,000, 700,000 Brazilian reals will get you residency in Brazil right now. There may be a place in the world that it's lower, Mikhail. I don't know where it is. I think this may be one of the best places to gain it anywhere right now. And despite current insanity in the markets, which I think they've just gone crazy in the United States. I mean, everything in the United States has gone crazy. There's a roadmap that's needed. And I want to lay out at least my perception of a roadmap, a guy who's bought property in a lot of countries. And I'm going to give you my idea of the roadmap, a plan that will work and perform for you and stand the test of time. That's what's important, not just something that looks great while I'm talking about it, but that you can feel good about it the moment that you decide to be a part of this and know that it's going to stand the test of time. And so I call it JP's Beyond the Backyard Blueprint. Again, you may not agree with it. You may say, "Oh, I don't buy into JP's blueprint." But I'm going to give you my way of buying property internationally. And so now's the time to build a global war chest of short-term vacation rental homes. And I think we couldn't ask for a better time right now because the market has become sensitive to it. And this war chest of homes can be done relatively easy. You're going to see that in just a few minutes. Owning short-term rental properties in the right market with the right strategy becomes very important to be able to increase your investment returns, upgrade your lifestyle, save money on taxes, and grow wealth at the same time. And then what I like to say is just rinse and repeat. Once you've got it, it's up and running, you start over again. Here's the good part. And Mikhail, I don't want to sound like a super fan club for you, but when you've got people like Mikhail that are out there looking for these extremely rare opportunities, literally every year or two, it does give you the ability to acquire one or two properties a year as you watch these grow over a few years and build yourself a nice war chest of properties to unlock the financial freedom that's necessary to walk away from the craziness of what we see happening and how to run those numbers to see if it really makes sense. So let me give you some quick ideas because I don't want to spend all day with it. 450,000 Brazilian reals will get you one of these oceanfront condominiums. And let me convert that for you to dollars. That's 87,000 USD. That's what it would cost you if you pick up the phone and call right now. Now, here's what happens. We typically have what's called a pre-construction discounted price. That means if you're buying before we start construction and everything gets started, you can own one of these for $77,000. And let me show you what the numbers look like at $77,000 so you can see and feel what it looks like to see if this works for you. $77,000. Closing costs are going to be approximately 5% or about 3,800. Furniture package of about 10,000. So total for rentable unit to have it up and ready on the market, right at about $90,000. And you've got an oceanfront unit directly on the ocean. Let's talk about income for a moment. Nightly rental rates. And then this is an estimated occupancy rate after 3 years. We're estimating about 55%. I don't want to try to show you something the first year and the second year. It's not fair. They're typically, if you're using this in the rental program, you're getting your business started. What store opens up doing fantastic in the first year? The rental market starts, it builds a little more the second year, a little more the third year, 4 and 5 get even better. But I want to show you on a conservative figure at about 55% rentals, annual rental income would be about $15,000. And so let's take the expenses of management fees at about $3,000. That's the cost for the company to rent your units, take the money, collect the money, send your money, and to do everything. You're going to have a management fee based on that income. And by the way, if it doesn't rent, you don't pay a management fee. You only pay management fee when it's rented. Annual HOA fees of about $1,400, annual utilities about $700, home insurance about $300, and annual property taxes of a little over $200. So you've got total annual expenses of about $5,700. So let's put it all together, the net annual rental income, and see what it looks like. Rental income of about $15,000, expenses of about $57,000, net rental income of about $9,300. So what that looks like is a net ROI of a little over 10%. That's estimates based on data from similar projects, similar developments that have been done in this area by the developers and other developers. It's not a 17 or 18% return, but it's a nice, decent return to look at after a few years, and to know that if you literally wanted to get on a plane and fly down there once a year, you got a nice little place to stay and it's yours. Nothing's going to go crazy with it. And analyzing the numbers becomes a critical piece of this puzzle. But here's the key. It's not the only piece of the puzzle. And a lot of times people are saying, well, that's all I'm looking for. I want to give you 7 steps to building what I call a short-term rental portfolio. And as you look at it, it's a numbers game. Number one, and that's what we just did. We went over some of the numbers based at $77,000. Number two, you don't make money the day you sell the property. This is something I've taught my daughter. You cash in the day you sell the property. You make money the day you buy the property. That means if you don't buy it right, there's no way you can sell it right. This is a big one for my blueprint. It's not a matter of where it's going, what I'm doing. I want to make sure that I've done all my homework and that I'm buying it at the right price. In other words, I can feel that I have made a good buy and that I know that in a few years I'm going to see some appreciation. You should be able to feel that. If you don't feel it, this is not for you. So there's one of my big mantras. And of course, we know when it comes to real estate, it's location, location, location. For me, I've changed that word a little bit and I say waterfront, waterfront, waterfront. Waterfront is the last to go in any market and it's the first come back in any market. So if markets crash, it'll be the last thing that happens because people are still going to rent their waterfront properties. And as markets start to improve, it's the first thing that comes back. That's number 3. And as we can see, we've got that covered. The butterflies don't go away. That means, do I do this or do I not do it? Do I sign the papers or do I not sign the papers? Do I wire the money or do I not wire the money? The butterflies never go away. I've been doing this for many years now, and even though I'm comfortable, when I find something, I like it, I buy it, there's still that little bit of something inside of me that says, did I cover all the bases? Did I look at everything? Did I do my checklist the same way a pilot does before he takes the plane and flies off? And I take that deep breath, comfortable in my abilities to make decisions and move forward. So if you feel those, I just want you to know they don't go away. Even for seasoned investors, they don't go away. According to Forbes, 44% of the buyers felt nervous throughout the entire process of buying properties. Now, understanding the risk. There are risks, but not as big as what you're thinking. I think, this is just my personal opinion, I think the risks are involved in staying in the backyard. Let me give you an example. This is what we're seeing happening all over the place. Airbnbs are being shut down by local governments, by local towns, because people don't want them in their neighborhood. So people have bought these homes and they're going into them only to find out 6 months later that the local city council has just stopped Airbnb rentals. They don't like what's renting there. They don't like the type people that are renting. And all of a sudden the investment into this long-term rental property is down the tubes. That's not going to happen here. This is built for rental and it's going to be a rental. There's no neighborhood committee that's going to say you can't rent those anymore. That's not happening in this part of the world. Number 6 is, and I love this, don't try to buy a Chevy at the Ford dealership. And here's what I mean. When I'm finished, you may say, I like it. I think I would like to do one of those, John. I want to talk to you about what I need to do. And you can talk to me. That's fine. Or anybody on the team, actually. But if you're going to talk to your neighbor or your cousin or your brother or your uncle and they go, what? You're putting your money where? Do you know what you're doing? This is what I've heard about this part of the world. This is what I've heard there. It's like going to a Ford dealership and saying, hey, what do you think about the new Chevy that's just come out? You might as well expect them to give you every reason in the world why not to do it. So here's my suggestion and my strategy. Don't talk to anyone except someone who has done it. I've done it. Mikhail's done it. Anybody on our team has done it. Talk to us. I'm glad to answer your questions at a person who's been there, done that, and talk to someone else who's been there, done that. If you want to talk to somebody that hasn't, you might as well just be wasting your time. You might as well go to the Ford dealership and ask them all about the Chevrolets and expect the answers that you know you're going to get. They're going to tell you every reason why a Ford is the best and why a Chevrolet is not worth investing your money in. So that's something that I have found even to this day as a seasoned investor. I have people constantly still ask me, why did I do it? Am I scared? Am I afraid they're going to take my property away from me? And none of those are reality. They're just not reality. They don't want your property in these countries. They want your money. They want our money. And so with that, they want us to have these out there, make them available, and help commerce run. And number 7 is thinking long term. I don't want to buy something and think that I'm going to turn it around and make a quick, big killing on it in 6 months or a year. I think you need to hold properties for at least 3 to 5 years to see the real potential of them. And this being one of those. And gone are the days, gone. Can you hear my Southern accent coming out there a little bit? I even hear it in myself. But gone are the days of when everyone was getting rich on short-term rental properties. That's just not really happening anymore. And so what I want to share with you now, I call it Beyond the Backyard One-Time Offer. I really should call it the Beyond the Backyard McHale One-Time Offer. And I'm sure you're laughing as I say this, Mikhail, because this deal that I'm about to share with you was driven by Mikhail. When I was in Panama, we were talking about this project in its embryonic stages and what could be done. And for those of you that have met Mikhail, you know what I'm about to say. And for those of you that haven't met him, he's a pretty hard driving deal maker, especially when it comes to what he says, bringing his tribe. And he won't bring his tribe unless he feels like they are getting absolute, unequivocally the best deal. And so here is the Mikhail one-time offer. I know I've showed you some other numbers, and those are still valid after this program. But during this and during this very short window that Mikhail has opened up, here's the deal. If you pay cash and you decide, I would like one of these oceanfront villas, this is the deal. $67,000 cash. Yes, it's an unbelievable deal for an oceanfront unit with a view like what you're looking at right here. And so for some of you, you're probably going, wait a minute, can you say that one more time? Yes, $67,000. This is a Mikhail deal, not the developer deal, because Mikhail brings his people in and he typically sells out. There's only 30 here, so I don't think these are going to be very long, but they'll typically be cleaned out very quickly. And so that's one of the reasons the developer agrees to do it is simply that, is because Mikhail will sell out an entire building just that quick. So before I wrap up, let me take you down the road of the numbers one more time under the backyard Mikhail deal, so to speak. Now let's look at $67,000 as your investment price. Closing costs are going to be just a little bit less because, again, closing costs are about 5% of the purchase price, so you save a little bit there. Furniture package is going to be the same. It's the same units. And the total rentable unit is now at $80,000 versus $90,000. Projected income, it'll be the same as before. The nightly rental rates at 75. The occupancy rates after about 3 years, doing very conservatively at 55%. And the annualized rental income at about $15,000. And so, as you can see, those numbers come out excellent. The expenses will be management fees of $3,000, HOA fees of $14,000, utilities of $7,000, home insurance $3,000, property taxes of $200,000 with a total annual expenses. Let's add them all up and see what it looks like. Rental income of $15,000, expenses of $57,000, net rentable income $9,300. Net ROI after about 3 years estimated from other projects that are being done in the same area now at 11.6. And as you can see, that's a pretty darn good rate of return. And one thing I've not even mentioned here is appreciation. Appreciation. And if you just take, and I know some things in these areas have done anywhere from 10, 15, and even 20%, but if you're just taking 5 or 6% a year, you're looking at $3,000 to $4,000 a year in appreciation on top of getting a good return on your money. So that means you could sell one of these after 5 or 6 years for $20,000, $30,000 more than what you paid and have the rentals have it close to being paid for. Close. If you want to look at those numbers in depth, anybody's going to be on our team is glad to go over them with you and show them how they work in your situation. But everybody's tax situation is different. So if you don't have the cash to pay, but you want one of these, $77,000 is the finance price. There is no interest on it. It's 25% down. The balance paid over 24 months, interest free. So again, $67,000 is cash. That's the McHale window opportunity price. 77,000 is if you want to finance it with 25% down. It's as simple as it gets. You can use your 401k or IRA accounts. This is something I'm an expert at. I have been doing it. I've taught my daughter to do it. So if you buy one of these inside of your IRA or a self-directed IRA, that means all the rental income will be tax-free. Or if you're in a Roth IRA, if you're in a traditional IRA, it'll be tax deferred. And they're easy to set up. We can show you how to do that and use your IRA so that when you sell it, the money is not taxed while it's in the IRA. So it's a tax savings device. So there's traditional retirement plans, and then there's the freedom retirement plan. I like to think that what I've shown you this morning is the freedom retirement plan. This is my kind of retirement plan. This is what I like to think of as a place to put my money, a place to feel secure, a place to watch it bring in cash flow, have the checks sent to me, and watch it grow and appreciate over the years. I like holding things for 5, 6, 8, 10 years, and maybe even longer. You may go down there and enjoy it. But I can tell you this, we don't want to just sell you one. We want to sell you next year another one, and next year another one, and next year another one. So I want you to be happy. And so I don't know that these prices will ever be available again. It's hard to believe when you think about what you can buy for $67,000 in the US. But here's something that's for sure. You'll find us ridiculously easy to do business with. And when I say that, I mean it. We have analyzed everything. You're not dealing with just Brazilians. You're dealing with McHale. You're dealing with myself. You're dealing with our team. So here's the next step. It's pretty easy. $2,000 US deposit. It can be direct bank, wire transfer, or you can use a credit card. That's all it takes. And here's what you have to do. You email us at expat@beachfrontoffers.com. And again, I'll leave it up there for a second. EXPAT, expat at beachfrontoffers.com. And here's what you will put in the email. Your name, phone number, and if you want one unit, say I'm interested in one or I'm interested in two, that you want to secure, it's as simple as that. If you want to speak with me, I'm glad to talk to you. Put it in there. I'll be glad to call you back. But those are what you need to do. Emails are going to be answered in real time and in order that they are received. So if you're wanting one, I'd be tapping it out right now, putting them in. McHale is going to kind of see some of that up. He'll probably just ask you point blank. But there you go. Going beyond the backyard. And for me, it's made a big difference in my life in accumulating my war chest. I hope if you haven't started, you will start assimilating your war chest today, right now. Don't thank me. Don't thank the developer. Thank this guy on the other end, because he's the one that beat the hell out of this thing to get the price where it is. And, you know, when he does it, McHale, you know what I'm saying? He just says it outright. When my
I like
tribe
fighting
comes,
for my clients. I mean, what else to say? I mean, I absolutely fight for everybody. So, okay, here's what
exactly.
we're going to do. Go to the Q&A, the Q&A that we used earlier when we started the presentation. And in traditional expat money fashion, I want you to type in I'm in, okay? Type in I'm in if we hit the mark. If you went, this is amazing, I want to buy one of these, I'm going to scoop a bunch of these up for my portfolio. Just type in there I'm in, okay? I was able to secure, John was right. When he came down in Panama, we spent an afternoon together in my house, in my beach house in Panama, going over this, looking at all the numbers, going back and forth. And I was able to secure the $10,000 off straight off the bat, off the top. And then I was able to do even more than that with a cash price, getting it down to $67,000 for a condo unit. Okay. That's not, a 15-minute walk to the beach. It's not, 5 minutes you need to take a drive or something like that. That is on the beach. On the beach. Like, it's unbelievable. And when you see this area, your head is going to explode. So what I want you to do is go to the Q&A and type in there, I'm in. All right. Now, also in the chat group, I put in the email address for you. John, do you want to scroll back for a second to
Sure.
the email address so everybody has the email address there?
I can do that.
And I want to make sure that everybody's got the right spelling of this. There we go. Just leave that one up there for me.
Okay.
So it's pretty cool. If you guys heard our summit, I want to say it was the 2022 summit we did together, John. It was maybe 2021. It had to be 2022 because you've spoke several times at my summit. We're going into our fourth summit this year. You did a presentation on beachfront real estate. And I was like, at the end of the presentation, I was like, soon as I'm done this, I'm going to go talk to my wife and we're buying one of these. And we did buy one of those. Just, I don't know if you know this, but I actually did buy one
Yes.
right then and there on the presentation. I jumped in head first and I bought it, and it took about just over a year to build and then about a month to furnish. I think the whole process, very, very start to finished when I had the keys in hand, was 15 months. And we started renting it out in February of this year. And I'm doing about 1% a month. Okay. I'll see the overall cash flow annual when I've done a full 12 months, but I'm 3-4 months in right now, and I'm doing about 1% a month. So if you guys see 10%, 11%, 12%, and you're like, oh, but can they really get that? I am telling you right now, I am actually getting these numbers on a unit very similar to this. It's actually just down the beach from these. Okay. Now that was at the price before negotiating, before anything like that. Okay. That was 3-4 years ago, something 3 years ago, maybe. And this one here, I've already secured you guys 10%, $10,000 right off the bat, more than 10%. Okay. So let's take a look here. All right. Kurt said, this is funny. Kurt knows me so well. He typed in, I'm in, before I even asked for it. Kurt, amazing. I'm super happy for you. Let's see. Scott says, I'm in. Adam says, I'm in. MP says, I'm in. Sandy says, I'm in, exclamation point. Jonathan says, I'm in. Hey, Jonathan, good to hear from you this week. I'm looking forward to our chat next week. William says, I'm in. Says, I in from George. I am in from Ulf. Ulf, good to see you as well. When are we seeing you back here? Harry says, I'm in. Orca says, interested. Ty says, I'm in. Amazing. This is fantastic. This is excellent. So what I want you guys to do is go ahead and shoot an email over to expat@beachfrontoffers.com. Just put in there your phone number, super duper important. We've got a group of the sales team who's standing by. They're going to be calling back and taking the reservation fees in real time. They're probably getting the emails right now. So now I want you to turn on your phone. Remember earlier I said, please turn off your phone, mute your phone. You now can turn the phone back on and keep it on all day. We're expecting this to be extremely busy today, so it might take a couple of hours to get a call back. It depends how quickly you send an email. Now, one point, John, that you didn't highlight, but I'm going to need to highlight, because I was able to negotiate this type of a deal, I was only able to negotiate it for a certain amount of units. And that's just how it works, right? This is not an unlimited number of units. This is really a first come, first serve type of basis. So we've been able to secure 30 units at this price, all right? 30 units. And considering the invitation to join this webinar, I sent it out to about 20,000 of my best clients. So if you guys are here, we had 20 going out to 20,000 people, and we got 30 units. So I would suggest not delaying on this. Send the email ASAP. Can you guys see, by the way, the chat that I copied and pasted the email address? Let me do it one more time there. Yeah. So now you should be able to see that. If you just copy and paste that into your email and just tell them how many units you're after, include your phone number, and we will get probably Michael Kruger and Bruno will be the ones doing the calls straight away. Let's see. So lots and lots of questions here. Amazing. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a 4 to 5 minute break. I don't want this to go on too long. 4 to 5 minute break so we can all use the washroom. Go ahead and send an email in that break if you have time, and then we'll join you back here, and then we're going to get to as many Q&A as humanly possible. So let's go do that now. I'll see everybody back here in 4 to 5 minutes. Sound good, John?
Sounds good. We'll see you then, and we'll answer all your questions.
Yeah, I'm prepared to stay on as long as it takes this morning. I want to make sure everybody's questions get answered. So, John, let's go ahead and turn our video and mute ourselves. Leave that screen up, and I'll see you guys back here in a couple of minutes. Thanks. How we doing, John? Was that 5 minutes? I've been looking at the Q&A and everything like that, and you need to unmute yourself, my friend.
I
Here we
said
go.
it was enough to get everything done that I needed. So,
Exactly. There's so many questions in here. This is awesome. All right.
well,
I
I
think
think I'm ready
we,
to answer what I can. And I've got my
yeah,
team on
exactly.
standby if I
So
don't know the answer.
exactly. And I've got a chat going with the team as well. They say the email has just completely lit up. Like there's just so many emails coming in right now. So that's super exciting. I always love this part of it. This is something that takes like 4, 5, 6 months to put together. And then when it all comes together in one day, it's just super rewarding. I just get a giant kick out of it. I love watching the chat explode and the email explode. When people see what I see, Another another really interesting point is when you had mentioned that you are not in mutual funds, you're not in stocks, you're not in any of that kind of stuff. I can totally relate to that because actually I got my background in finance. Maybe I started trading stocks and options and derivatives. I want to say 15 years ago. It was probably more like 17 years ago because I keep forgetting to update it. But about 2 years ago, I started selling my stock portfolio. And as of probably about a year ago, I am 100% out of publicly traded companies. I got rid of all ETFs, everything, every stock portfolio, all options contracts, anything and everything in publicly traded markets. I got rid of all of it. And I've taken all of that money over the last couple of years and I've scooped up awesome projects like this. And I'm just building a cash flowing machine. And that is the name of the game. I think that in the environment we're in today, where things are completely overinflated in the stock market, and you have all this political risk that we're seeing in North America, especially, well, in Europe too, but especially in North America. I think being in those types of markets is so risky. I would rather be in a market like this, which has a domestic tourism market where we're going to be able to cash flow. We're going to be able to watch the property appreciate in value and nice properties at $67,000 where you're not tying up all of your capital in one property. This should just be a small piece of the portfolio. So what I've started doing is I've identified a half a dozen countries. I don't necessarily think everybody should choose so many different countries, but I've got a slightly different story. But 2, 3, 4 different places, and then start figuring out with your stock portfolio. All right, well, I used to put 20% in tech stocks, and I used to put 20% in energy companies. I used to put 10% over here, and start taking those funds and putting them into good projects overseas, and then start dedicated, 20% to Brazil and 20% to Panama and 10% over to Paraguay or other places like this, places where we're going to see capital appreciation, currency valuations are going to go up. We see a booming middle class. We didn't really get too into depth, but that's one of the biggest things that I'm looking for now is a growing middle class who has a disposable income. They might not yet have enough money to go out there and purchase their own beachfront property, but they have enough money to rent, and they rent all the time, like every single weekend. I have a ton of Brazilian staff, and if you ask them, going to the beach is like it's in their veins, it's in their blood. Like no matter what, they are going to have a churrasco on the weekends at the beach and listen to music and play and enjoy themselves. Brazil is one of my favorite countries on planet Earth. I used to live there. My second child was born in Brazil. I have a love affair with Brazil. It's just the coolest place ever. The music and the food and the people and everything. And I can tell you that beach culture, they do it right in that country. So I'm super stoked about this project. And yeah. So those are just some things I wanted to add. Shall we do some Q&A, John?
Yeah, let's jump into it. When you talked about mutual funds, I keep a little money there, but it's my liquid money that I'm accumulating for my next investment, so that it's not sitting at 1% in a bank. But I echo everything you just said. I am far more into the real estate than
We'll
anything
get
else.
you
So why
down
don't
here to
you?
Panamanian banks. We get to about 4% on the banks here. So I'm out of the stock market, so I don't have that downside risk because I expect a crash. I mean, I'm not giving financial advice, but It doesn't look very pretty from my perspective. So I'm scooping up deals like this all day, every day, nonstop, flying around the world, doing my due diligence, walking the
Right.
sites, looking at the plans, going through the spreadsheets over and over and over and over again. And this is the name of the game for me.
So why don't you
Okay.
drive the questions, and I'll see what answers I can bring to the table, and that way we won't repeat each other. So I'll just let you take it there.
I'll ask the questions. If I know the answer, I'll jump in. Otherwise, I will defer to you. Okay, number one, I'm familiar with the area. Which beach is it? What's the name of the beach?
I just call it the Kanoa area.
The Kanoa
Jan
Beach.
or one of those guys may know an actual more formalized name. You know, each area, little beach has its own nickname.
Well, I'll get you to pronounce when they send us the information. Well, they're probably on the phone
Okay.
with calls right now, but I'll get you to
Okay.
pronounce the Portuguese because every time I try to say a Portuguese word, all of my Brazilian staff members slash clients slash expats who are living there all make fun of me for my Brazilian accent
Well, I don't
because
think I'm going to get
I do
much
things in a
better
Spanish
treatment.
Panamanian.
I don't know
Okay.
that I'll get better. Go ahead.
Okay, let's see. Will there be a recording of this presentation? Yes, I will be sending out a recording. It'll take us a little bit of time to render it, get it all ready, and send it out. I can tell you, Scott, I'm looking at your message, that these will be sold out today. So you probably want to move on this before, but we'll send you the recording in case you want to show a spouse or a friend or a colleague or someone from work or something like that. Another piece that actually we didn't mention, and I should, is once these sell out, what we're going to do is start a waiting list. Super duper important. So even if you are listening to the recording of this and you're thinking, oh my God, those are going to be gone, it's too good of a deal, I want you to send an email to expat at Beachfront Offers anyways, because we're going to start a waiting list because something always happens, someone can't get the money together or something like that. We're going to automatically be going to the waiting list first. We're not going to go out there and start marketing to new people. Okay. So go on the waiting list. All right. Okay. I'm interested in knowing the process of purchasing an international property using the self-directed IRA. What is the setup, cost, and time involved? Thank you, Jamie.
Do you want to take it? Or do you want me to take it, Mikhail?
You go for it. I've got a company I can put in the chat that I've worked with in the past. I mean, you can work with anybody who does self-directed IRAs. I know this company does good work, but why don't you give the nuts and bolts of it, and I'll find the email address and stuff for them.
Terrific. I am a not a believer. I'm a hardcore believer in utilizing the self-directed IRA. It is not for everybody, but it can be for anybody that chooses to utilize it. So if you have an IRA with a standard institution like Schwab or Fidelity, those are IRA accounts. They're not self-directed IRAs. So you'll have to move over to a company that is governed by and can utilize the self-directed way of using your money. Mikhail will give you that a little later on. I've got one that I work with and probably have done some work with the same one you're talking about, Mikhail. But they then will direct you how to do it. But the process is simple. You have the money in the account. And remember, this is your retirement money that you've been utilizing in your IRA. You identify the target. So if you say, I want to buy one of these reserve condominiums in Brazil, you would notify the custodian and tell them I want $67,000. They will then, and they will say, what is it for? And you'll say, I'm buying real estate, rental property. They will then issue the money and pay for it. And that's it. Then when the rental income comes in, the rental income will go back into your IRA. So if you've got a traditional IRA, it'll go back into it. Or if you've got a Roth, traditional is taxed when you take the money out. It is you get tax write-off when you go in. A Roth IRA is you pay the taxes before you put the money in, but then everything that appreciates and comes out of it is tax-free. I'm not going to get into all of that right now because the question was, how easy is it to do? It's relatively easy, but you've got to make sure you're using a self-directed custodian They issue the money for you. The rental income goes back into the IRA. And when you accumulate enough money back there again, you buy another piece of property with it. It's about as simple as it gets.
Amazing. Okay, next question. Oh, and by the way, I did put in the chat group someone that I've worked with in the past. He was recommended to me. We did a bit of due diligence. We looked into it. I've sent some clients, or actually quite a few clients to them, and things have been going very, very smooth. So go into the chat, and the same place that I had put the email address for taking advantage of this deal, you'll see their contact information in there. If you can't get it, then feel free to email us at the expat@beachfrontoffers.com, and we can send it back to you via email. Okay, so you've got it. Okay, next, is the furniture package mandatory? No, of course not. Nothing is mandatory. We want you guys to have as much freedom as humanly possible. It's up to you how you're going to do these types of things. For me, I don't live in Brazil. I live in downtown Panama City. So I want to do a furniture package like this because I'm an absentee owner. I'm not going to be living there or shopping for these types of things. But if you want to do it yourself, 100%, it's your choice to do.
Absolutely.
Okay. Is this a retirement place with sufficient infrastructure like doctors and restaurants? Do you want to talk about the area and maybe Fortaleza, highlight Fortaleza again, which is, this is not Fortaleza. It's outside of Fortaleza, but still, I think it's worth mentioning.
I think the area, to answer the first part of the question, is it a retirement area? Absolutely. Is this development, remember, these are small units. They're really designed to be workhorses. That's my perspective on it. These are absolute workhorses. If you were going to buy something bigger, I think you couldn't beat it as far as a retirement area. The infrastructure's there, hospitalization is there. If you come to Brazil, even as a tourist, I don't think you're even going to pay. It's the medicine there you're taking care of. Good hospitals, even down in this area, in the Canoa area, they've got good doctors. They've got good facilities down there to take care of most of anything that happens. If you have a heart attack, you probably want to get on up to the city. And, from there, they're going to be able to take care of anything that happens. So the facilities are good. Shopping is good. Food is good. Grocery stores are great. So all of that infrastructure is there.
Amazing. Someone asks, would they have to buy two to qualify for residency? Yes. So there's a certain amount of reais that you need to qualify for residency. It depends. In Brazil, not all Brazil is created equal. There's some that's 1 million, some that's 750,000, some that's 500,000. Depending on the currency exchange, it should be two of these units which would qualify you for residency. The super nice thing to know about this is that you could purchase the properties and then you don't have to get residency today. You could get residency in a year from now. You could get residency in 3 years from now. So it's literally a call option on having a residency in a place like that, even if you're not going to pull the trigger today. Just having that option available and then qualifying for residency is a very nice thing to have. Okay.
Let me mention this, Mikhail. I'm sorry, I didn't want to interrupt you. To qualify for residency, because I know somebody is probably doing the math right now, and they're going, okay, 67, that comes up to 134. And John, you said it was 140,000 US dollars to get residency. So there is a way to do that without buying a third unit. You simply buy the 2 units and include the furniture package. So if you say, I want residency, I want 2 units, you'll just say, I want the furniture with them. You now cross, so your contract price is going to be 77 furnished, and now you've crossed the 140,000 US earmark in order to get the residency. That's how it's done. So I didn't want somebody to run their numbers, Mikhail, and they're going to be writing us going, hey, that we're not coming up to the dollar marker. You just simply, now you need to include the furniture package if you want to do it. Most people do get the furniture package, by the way. Very few people don't do it. And it is a very good price for it because it includes everything right down to the knives, forks, spoons, TV, air conditioning, everything, linens that you need to put that in there and start making money day one. So that's there.
Amazing, amazing. So Michael says, so I already invested with Bruno from this company about 2 years ago and own one condo in Fortaleza. He has been totally honest with me and above board. Yes, Michael, you and I invested in the same development a couple of years ago. The cool thing is it's actually very, very close. So this is a brand new development, but these projects are very, very close to each other. Because I see another comment in here that I own in this development. This is a brand new development, completely new. But next door was a much smaller one that you and I got in together about 2 years ago. So I know what you're talking about. So that's awesome. Okay, let's see. Oh, someone was asking about the airport. Rough estimate, how long to an international airport, John?
How long? I'm going to say from this particular project, about 90 minutes. People ask me, do you need a car? Yes, you need a car. I go to some countries. When I go to Morocco, I don't need a car. When I go to Greece, I need a car. Here, you need a car. I mean, you can hire a driver to drive you around, but you don't get to explore and do all of the cool things there are to do there. So, and cars are very inexpensive. Remember, the cost of living here is not what it is in the US. So you're going to get a car far more economically than you would in the States.
Absolutely. I see a couple of other comments here about that same thing. Okay, let's see. Okay, how many units make up this development? Do we know
30,
how
I
big
think.
the
Yeah, there's 30
so
units make up the development. So it's a
you know that
small,
we have 30. I think that there's going to be 50. From my understanding, there's going to be 50 units at the development, but we're able to secure this price for 30 of those units. What always happens with a developer is like they're not going to sell the whole development at a discounted price because then they're not going to make any money, right? They need to then raise their prices and then they're going to be able to make a lot more money. But I'm not interested in, the last few units in the development. I want to get in on the first units. And because we get in on the first units, that's where the money is to be made. So by the time these finish selling out, well, we've already made 20% or 30% or 40% on our money. Because as you had said, John, it's not when you sell it, it's when you get in. That's why I always push at the very, very beginning to get the best prices. And someone else can get the last unit at some inflated price. I don't care about them. They're not our people, This is not our tribe. That's someone else, right? So for
There,
our people, we've got 30 units on this at a discounted price available to you guys this Saturday morning. And that's what I'm most excited about.
there is, Mikhail, there is a buyer for those last few units. They must see it. They must touch it. They must feel it. They must walk into it. They have to, grasp the walls, hold on and see the view, smell the air. And they don't mind paying that price. That's what makes the world tick. But that's not where we are today. We are with a different group of people who really, like when I started and talking an hour ago, it's a different adventure for us. We want to be on that front end. And like I've tried to teach my daughter, you don't make money the day you sell, you make money the day you buy. And that's the key to the formula for me.
Absolutely. Han says, can you share the location via Google, like a Google pin? You know what? If you send us an email, we'll absolutely get that for you. Not a problem whatsoever. So shoot us an email to the expat at beachfrontoffers.com and we will get you a map or a Google pin or anything like that that makes sense for you. I want to make sure you guys know where it is. Okay. Jonathan asks, is residency qualification based on total investment of multiple properties or just one property? It does not need to be one property. It's the amount you invest. So we can put everything together and you can qualify for residency. Good
Correct.
question.
Correct.
Okay. Okay. What is the delivery schedule of this development?
June of 26 is the scheduled delivery of these.
Amazing. That's
Which is
pretty
pretty
typical.
normal. It's pretty
Yep.
normal. It's very typical, Mikhail. You know that for pre-construction.
Exactly. Exactly. Because it's actually quite interesting. It's not just the building of your unit. Think they need to make sure all the land is cleared. They might need to level or fill the land a little bit. They need to put in roads, septic, water, electricity, all of these types of things, and then build the homes afterwards, right? It's all the infrastructure because this is just natural beach at the moment. There's nothing else there. So we need to put all of these things in place. So that takes the first, half of the time or 3/4 of the time. And then once all of that is done, then these properties can go up. Okay.
That's correct.
Perfect. Charles says, do you need an attorney? Well, for immigration, you're definitely going to need an attorney that would help you. If you want to get residency, then you shoot us an email. We will introduce you to someone. There's an attorney we work with in Brazil. His name is David. Ask to speak to David or someone from David's team, and we'll help you with that. If it's the real estate contract, it's up to you. The real estate contract will be in English, so you can read it yourself. I've gone through them. They're not aggressive contracts whatsoever. They're actually quite friendly contracts. If you feel more comfortable working with a Brazilian real estate attorney on this, just ask for a referral and we'll pass you someone who's completely independent. I would say don't use your US attorney because they will have no idea. A US attorney or a Canadian attorney can advise you on US law or Canadian law. You would need to work with a Brazilian attorney on these things. But it's up to you. At $67,000 for a unit, I mean, I'm not sure if it really makes sense to spend the extra legal fees, but I work with an attorney in most places. I've had my attorneys go through these contracts already. I felt comfortable enough buying. I bought the first one. I had my attorneys go through everything, and then I bought 2 more. So I actually own 3 properties from this developer. 1 has been delivered. 2 more I'm waiting for delivery. They're on schedule. They should be coming up not too far away from now. But that is a very good question. Okay. So what is the financial package? 25% down, and how much is the monthly payments? All right. Do you want to pull back up that slide? How you're going to do the financing option for people?
Yeah, it's pretty simple, Mikhail. You just take the $77,000 price if you're going to finance. You calculate 25% down, which is going to be about $20,000, give or take a little bit. Then you simply take the balance, divide it by 24, and those are your monthly payments. There's 24 payments. There is no interest added to it. And you just make those each month, which you can do by wire transfer. And
we've also had it before. If you prefer to do quarterly payments, we can also negotiate that. Just sometimes sending the payments, make it a little bit easier on you. You just, pay in advance or something. So we can work with you if you guys send an email to us. Actually, also with these slides, do you want to pull up what we want them to email? Not just, hey, I'm in, because we actually need the phone number. We need how many units you're going to be picking up, all of these types of things. See if you can find those, and I'm going to look for, I'll find another.
Your name, your phone number, number of units you want. Somebody will call you back. If you have a question you want to ask me specifically, just say, John, will you call me back? I'm glad to, always.
Okay, Omar says, will there be any future developments similar to the one with bigger units? So at the moment, we're not doing any of the larger units, but Omar, if you send us an email, we'll see if any of the units came back from what we were doing a year ago, 2 years ago. Because what often happens is someone buys, and then for whatever reasons, there's a change in their family situation, a divorce or a death or something like that, they have to give the unit back. So every once in a while, we'll get back a unit that'll already be completed. Like it's not going to be at these types of price points. Obviously, the price point will be higher, but there are ones that can come back that can be slightly larger. So maybe a 2-bedroom or something like that. But don't expect quite this good of pricing because we're in super duper early right now. But if you send us an email, Omar, we'll see what we can do to take care of you.
I call it the Mikhail window. Remember, the Mikhail window.
Exactly. Okay, estimated closing costs, transfer taxes, any of those types of things?
It's about 5% of the purchase price. So that's as simple as it gets. It's 5% of the purchase price.
Okay, amazing. One financing is the rest after the down payment to be paid in 24 monthly rates, or is it in one after 24 months? I think what they're asking is it monthly payments, or is it 25% down and the remaining 75% at delivery?
No, it's 24 monthly payments. If quarterly payments are needed, we could arrange that on a special arrangement, but it's 25% down. And then the following month, or 30 or 60 days later, you would start your monthly payments. Again, you just simply divide the balance by 24. There is no interest added to it. If you would rather do quarterly, we could arrange it. Most people will do just the normal monthly payment. I think it comes out to, I don't have the calculator in front of me, $1,000 or $2,000 a month. I actually think the cash price is better. I'll have people ask me this, Mikhail. They'll say, is it better to do cash or is it better to do the financing? I can tell you, I have run the numbers. I'm a numbers freak. And the price to just pay cash versus the price to finance, it is superior to do the cash price. If there's any way you can do it, in other words, you say, well, I don't have that. You could borrow it against your home. You could use your IRA. There's whatever means that are available to you. The cash price is unequivocally, hands down, the way to go. So there's just one guy's perspective. And I'm looking at it both ways anytime I buy something. Does it make sense to just utilize financing for a couple of years or just pay for it up front? In this particular case, with the deal that you drove here, 67 cash is hard to beat. There's just no way around it.
Absolutely. But in the same vein, I do have clients who will pick up. I mean, I know that there will be clients today who will pick up 4 of these or 5 of these or 6 of these all in one go. I mean, I think that that's completely normal at this price. Now, they'll pick it up at the financed rate and they'll put a couple of $100,000 down, and then they'll pay for them over the next 2 years, right?
Right.
If you're paying just for one, then yeah, it probably makes sense. Just do the 67. But if you're like, yeah, I'm going to build up a portfolio of them here and I want 4 of these units, well, 4 units at 25% down is the same price as 1 unit cash. So difference, I know, between the 67 and 77, but you know what I'm saying, right?
Right. Everybody's financial situation is different.
100%. Very interesting presentation. Will there be a recording of this presentation available? My wife wasn't available at this time. Yes, as soon as I am able, we will render and edit this video, and we will send it out to everybody who's registered today. My suggestion would be to have your wife watch it like tonight or as soon as you get it, because I am very sure these are going to go in advance. Or I would say reserve a unit with the expectation that your wife will watch it and that she will like what she saw, and then go forward. That way, at least you can secure a unit. Okay. Okay. So many questions here. Sometimes what also happens, everybody, is I'm reading the questions, I answer it, and then a question comes in later on. And because I kind of go up to the top, I miss it. So if I don't read your exact question, it's not because I'm ignoring you, but because I feel like we already tackled that piece of it in the Q&A when someone else asked somebody else. Okay. When someone else asked the question. Okay. Catherine asks, can we use our RRSP in Canada? All right. I have searched and asked around, and I have not found a reputable company that does retirement accounts that will allow you in Canada to invest in international real estate. So the US has us beat in this one. I have seen some companies where you can take a loan against it, and then you can take out the loan amount, and then you can use that for investing in foreign real estate. It's a little bit complicated, and I can't really speak to the validity of it or the trustworthiness of it. So for right now, for Canadians, I would say use cash. I wouldn't be using your retirement accounts of this. If someone has a different answer than that, you shoot me an email. I'm happy to continue to learn and look at new things, but I've not found one that I'm convinced is a viable option.
And I can't address it at all, Mikhail. I'm an American. Actually, I'm not just an American. As you probably know, I shared it with you last time, I got my Italian citizenship. And for very specific reasons, it gives me far more autonomy to travel, to move around the globe. There's a stronger passport than my U.S. passport, but getting residency, getting citizenship, getting passports, they are so important in today's market. Just to be able to move out of the United States autonomously, to do what you want to, where you want to, when you want to, and be able to go to other countries. So that was one of the reasons I got mine, because of ancestry, and I was able to do it a lot smoother and easier. But it's important. I know you talk about it a lot, Mikhail.
Absolutely. I'm a big one for residencies and citizenships. I think freedom of movement is unbelievably important. Okay. Catherine says yes, too complicated. Yes. Do you take Bitcoin? Hey, John, will the guys take Bitcoin for a property?
I don't know that we have so far.
I don't know
They
the
say
answer to
yes,
that.
we can. They say yes, we can take Bitcoin. So to
Yeah.
answer the question, the answer is yes, we can take Bitcoin.
Amazing. I bought a property, I bought an apartment this year, 100% in Bitcoin. It was a cool experience. I didn't have to ask anybody's permission. I just bought the place. I didn't have to provide anything, no documentation to the banks. I just bought the property. It was pretty cool feeling. All right, Charles, send us an email and we'll figure out how that's done. We'll work through it. You might be, at least to my knowledge, or at least with my people, the first person to buy a property in Bitcoin from this developer. I've helped people in Panama do it. I think actually we did the first real estate transaction here in Panama in Bitcoin. It was one of my clients. And we've helped in other countries, Nicaragua and other places. But I think for this developer, this would be the first one. So that's pretty
Yes,
cool.
we can make it happen.
Perfect. Okay, we've got a lot of them on, all right, due diligence and signing the contract, and it's the reservation fee, and how long is the reservation fee good for, and is it refundable, and what's refundable, and how long do we have, and all of these types of things. I'm not going to read the general question, but maybe, John, you can just kind of talk to us what it looks like and what the possibilities are.
I'll give just sort of a quick rundown. Your initial $2,000 deposit is probably the most important first step. That reserves the unit, puts you in line, and gets you one of the beachfront units. That $2,000 is going to be good for a few weeks. After that, because you will already have the contract, you will already have it in front of you, you'll need to review it, get with your spouse or whoever you need to review it, sign it, get it back, and then start the process of either doing a cash or installment method. Once you put your money down, the units are being built. And we're building the units for you. Do you get your money back? No. If you decide you don't want the unit, can you get a different unit and transfer your money over? Yes, we've had to do that with some people in the past. But, Mikhail, I've been doing this for a long time. This company is about to build a home for you. So when you get to closing, if you decide you don't want it, that's not the time to say, I would like to have my money back. You can move to a different unit. We'll work and get you something else in our projects or where we're going and give you credit for the money, but your money wouldn't be refundable at that point. So if you know you want it, put the $2,000 down, look over everything over the next few weeks. If it's not for you, get your money back. But beyond that, get on board, stay on board, and be with us, and get on the boat with us.
Amazing. Okay. Okay, some people are asking for questions about the developer. Yes, of course, we will send you anything you need from the due diligence side to understand more about the developer. Shoot us an email and we will get that over to you. I have done my due diligence on them. I've been working with them. Well, I've been friends with Jan, one of the owners, for 6 years, maybe. And John, you and I have been friends for maybe 5 years, I would guess, something like that.
Yes, I've been doing work with them for 5 years now, and so I enjoy working. I live in the U.S. and I travel to Brazil. So I've been in real estate business all my life. This is what I do, and it's important to me to work with people that are credible, do what they say they're going to do, and to just be a part of it because I'm sort of a representative here in the US, and a lot of people call me and ask questions, and I want to make sure that I'm representing things. I don't want anybody to lose money, make a bad investment, or get something that's not right for them. So I want to be able to guide someone when they ask me questions down the right path. And occasionally it's not for somebody. But, if you're looking to get outside of the country and you want something on the ocean, I can tell you this is hard to beat. Not from the standpoint of, whether it's good for you or not, but $67,000 oceanfront, where I am, you wouldn't get a portable rent-a-toilet for $67,000.
You wouldn't get a parking spot for that.
Yes, you wouldn't even get a parking. You're not joking. You can't even get a parking spot at a beachfront condo for $60,000. They're closer to 100,000 on the beach for a parking spot. So it's a great way to dip your toe in the water. This is what I tell people. It's a great way to dip your toe in the water, and it doesn't get any better than that.
Yeah. Last point on this one here. I would never work with a developer that I didn't trust. You have to understand, my business is about my reputation, okay? It's about my name. I would never, ever, ever jeopardize my reputation working with a developer that I didn't have full faith in, okay? I have full faith in these guys, okay? Because not only am I investing myself, I'm putting my own dollars into this, okay? I've already bought 3 houses from them and I plan on buying more from them as well. But I'm bringing this out to you guys, my awesome clients who I really care about. And there's so many private clients on here, people that I know and I've shared dinner with and things like that. I would never, ever present a deal to you guys that I wasn't 1,000% sure on, okay? Because I will never jeopardize my reputation or my name or ever put you guys in danger with these types of things. So this is a full endorsement from my side to work with this developer. That's why I've brought this to you. It is always the case. I am always bringing you guys really, really well thought out, well structured deals. Okay. Full stop. All right. Super, super clear on this one. Okay. Bill would like to know, can he pay in reais?
Can he pay in what?
In reais. It's the proper way of saying what you would pronounce as reals.
Oh, sure.
I had my Brazilian staffs teach me how to say the currency. So
of course,
I think I'm doing much better after they made fun of me.
Yes, no, absolutely. You can pay in reals. Remember, your speaking is going to be as good as mine. I say reals, but as you can see, we have a Brazilian there that's calling it by its real name. I'm going to talk in Southern English because I'm from the South. So, you're gonna hear that.
Amazing. Okay. Are all of these only studios or with bedrooms? So these are all the same. All units look the same, feel the same. They're all facing the same direction. The only difference is a ground floor unit or one level up. That's it. They're all beachfront. They're all the same size. If you need larger units, I think I told someone else earlier, or maybe I put it in the chat, shoot us an email and we'll see if there's something that came back onto the market. It won't be at this price, but we'll see what we can do for you. This deal is for condo units, and these are the small ones. These are actually, what were you saying before? Maybe you can repeat for us. A standard hotel unit is X amount of size usually, and these ones are actually Y amount of size.
Yeah, they're larger than a typical hotel room. And they're meant to be like a studio with a bedroom, a living room, a kitchen, and a bathroom. And of course, a big balcony. When you look at it, you'll see the balcony is really nice size. And so this is where the Brazilian renters will spend their time. There will even be a hammock. In every development that we've done, there's a hammock put out on these balconies because they love putting the hammocks up, swinging them in the breeze, and you'll see them. It's not just us. Anybody that builds anything down there, Mikhail, they put the hooks up to put the hammocks on. So it really sort of satisfies that deep psychological need that we need as Americans to, where's the hammock? They come with every home. That's a given in Brazil. Every Brazilian loves them.
Fantastic. Okay. Kurt wants to know, can we purchase through our Panama Foundation? Yes, absolutely. I've helped many clients do it. You're a private client. You approach me, I'll help you do it. Or even just talk to the lawyer we work with and she will help you. She's helped with this. So no problem for structuring that. Okay. Okay. So total with furniture package is 67 or 77. Let's go through all the numbers again. Okay. General public, not expat money subscriber. Someone comes off of the street. The launch price for them, the very first price is $87,000. Okay.
That's correct.
I was able to negotiate $10,000 off. And in a property at this price point, $10,000 off is a lot of money. Okay. If it is the financed price, it is $77,000. If you're going to pay cash, it's $67,000. The furniture package is optional. It includes the AC units, and with that is $10,000. Okay. The furniture package would be paid later, not today. Okay. The furniture package would be paid when it's time to furnish it. Makes sense, right?
Right.
You don't need to decide on the furniture package today. You can decide down the road, except in the example where John was putting forwards if you wanted to get residency. If you wanted to get residency, and then we would need to include it if you were getting two of these and a furniture package. Okay. So I hope those numbers all make sense. You can feel free to shoot us an email. We can put everything in writing for you, exactly how everything works. I was able to negotiate a pretty steep discount for our community on this. If you go to their website, if you go anywhere else, you're not going to see these numbers. You see these numbers because of our community, what we were able to do as a group together on these things. So I hope that makes sense. Okay, is it possible to get permanent residency right after purchase, or do I need to wait for the construction to be completed? No, you can get residency. It's the investable amount into the country. It's not based off of the completion of the project. As far as I am aware, John, you don't know any different on that than I do you?
Yes, they can get residency right away.
Amazing. Okay, 375 square feet, does that include the balcony, or is that added? Is that the internal, or is that the total size?
That's the total size, including the balcony. And I'll tell you why we do that, because this is where 50% of the time is spent is out on the balcony. So yes, the 375 does include that.
Amazing. Someone wants you to go back to the inside the floor plan. Can you find that slide for us? I'll keep
Would
going
you
while you're looking
believe
for
that
that.
I can?
I hope so.
Let's see if we can get back to it quick here.
Yeah. So Yogi wants to know about the inside picture for the condo. So maybe we'll put that one up for a minute so people can see. Yeah, once again, these units are for investment. It's your unit. You could live in it if you wanted, but I'm not saying, hey, drop everything and move to this property in Brazil. Okay. This is to put together a short term rental portfolio of properties. And these are nice price points because they're easily liquidable. Liquidable? That's not a real word. You are able to easily liquidate this if you need to get out. We don't want you in $1 million properties that could take 6 months to sell. I want you guys into properties that if you need the cash, if you needed to get out of it, then you can sell that property. But my expectation would be buy this with with the idea of building out a portfolio to get that 10% or 11% or whatever it's going to be in cash on cash return. And while you're collecting that money, you should see the value of the property appreciate with capital, like capital appreciation through this. Okay, so we've got the slide up here. So you can see this is more than a hotel room, but this is not a 5-bedroom villa or something like that, right? We were showing pictures before, 6-bedroom villas that were $1 million. I would rather have 15 of these or 20 of these as a portfolio than that one property, right? And that way, when you're renting them out, you have a lot more resilience. So you can see with the balcony, you've got the 100 meters there, 100 square meters there. I think that's what it is.
10 square meters.
10 square meters. Yeah, that would be 100 square meters would be massive. 10 square meters.
It's about 100
about
square
100
feet.
square feet. Exactly.
Right.
That's what I was thinking of.
You know,
with
Mikhail,
the
these
hammock
are
and everything.
workhorses. This is my analogy of it. Plain and simple. These are workhorses. That's what they're designed to be. They're designed to be maximum efficiency, cost effective, and to be able to achieve the best number. You know, a lot of times people will say, oh, I'd want a 2-bedroom or a 3-bedroom. Those are all great, but a lot of times they're just satisfying somebody's personal needs. People will ask me, they'll say, John, which one makes the best investment? It's not just here, but this is other developments that we've done over the years. This type property, the 1-bedroom studio efficiency, is exactly what it's designed to be. It's the rental workhorse. When you look at 375 square feet here, by the way, the typical tiny home that the rage is in the US right now, they're just under 400 square feet. So that'll give you an
Mhm.
idea. These are just almost the same size as the tiny homes are in the US. And we know you're not buying those for 67,000. They're more like 167, and that doesn't even include the lot to put it on. So that'll give you a quick idea.
Absolutely. Please keep in mind, why is the developer developing properties at this size? It's because this is what rents after 25 years, and developer has delivered over 3,000 homes. Okay. They've delivered over 3,000 properties. Okay. That's a lot of experience. It's three brothers. They bought the company. They inherited it from their father, or I'm not sure inherited or bought, but they got the company from their father, and they're running with it. They have a huge database of information, and they really know what they're doing, and they know the local market so well. They know the local market 1,000 times better than I do. I really trust their opinion. They tell me this is it. This is what people want. This is what people will rent. Okay. That's why they're doing these ones. It's if the rental market demanded 3 bedrooms, trust me, they would deliver 3 bedrooms. It's these size of units that are really hot right now. And this is so a family can come and they'll rent a couple of them side by side and they'll go to the beach for the weekend. This is what people want. Okay. So I like to give people what they want. I think it's a very good business strategy.
Mikhail, I want to point
Um,
out something here real quick because we'll probably move off this slide in a few minutes. But if you'll look closely at the balcony between the living room and the bedrooms, you'll see there's a sliding glass door coming out of the master bedroom. There's a sliding glass door out of the living room. And so that'll give you a great idea. Let me see if I can pull one up here real quick. There you go. As you can see, you've got two views. You don't even usually get that in a hotel room. So you've got one view out of the from the where you're sleeping, one view out of the living room. Even though they're small units, they've still got gorgeous views. Let me back up a little bit again, and so that you can get a good idea. There we go. So that'll give you a little better idea, I think. So
Amazing. Okay,
two
someone has
views.
asked. Sorry, go ahead, John.
No. I was finished. I was just saying that gives you a better idea to see that it's not just one window out of the unit. There's actually two views, one out of each room, which is very unusual
True.
even in US properties because they're building long and narrow nowadays in the US to maximize that beachfront view. That's the most valuable part of the whole property is that width and view out to the beach.
True. Okay. Catherine would like to know, do I need to fly down to sign the contract to complete it? No, everything
Do
can be
not.
signed via uh, DocuSign or the internet or PDFs. Then no problem there whatsoever. If it's for residency after you purchase the properties, yes, you would need to go down there in person. But for the property itself, for the contracts, that can all be done remotely. And as I was saying before, you can purchase the properties now and you can do residency later. They don't have to be done at the exact same time. You can even do residency in a year from now or 2 years from now. Okay. Um, okay. Any other amenities like gym, eateries, or these types of things near the development?
Well, you're very close to the town of Kanoa. So, yes, to answer that question. And that's got everything that you could ask for. As far as the development itself, it's going to have the pool and those things, but there's no gym there. But most people are not working out at the gym when they come here. The gym becomes the beach, the walks, the swimming at the pool. But you even have gyms in Kanoa if you want to go down to them, and they're only a few minutes away.
Amazing. Okay. By the way, I have a group chat with the sales team on WhatsApp right now, and they're telling me like it is flat out. Like email has absolutely exploded. They are like going crazy right now trying to answer everybody's questions and make callbacks. Once again, make sure you turn your phone volume on because they're going to be sending emails, or sorry, they're going to be doing phone calls in the order that they get emails. Okay. So if they do a callback and you don't answer the phone, guess what? They are immediately moving on to the next person. Okay. So please turn your phone volume on maximum, have your phone with you, and wait for that call back. Okay. If you've missed the call, shoot them another email, get back in line. Okay. I want to make sure that everybody who wants to get a property today is going to get a property. So please include your phone number. I can't stress this enough. You have to include your phone number. Put the country code, the area code, everything. Make it very, very easy on the sales team so that they can call you right now. Tell us how many units you want. You're going to get a call back. Make sure your credit card is handy as well. You're going to be able to do the reservation fee, the $2,000 via credit card. If you want to do it by an ACH or a bank transfer, things like that, we can do that as well. But credit card is certainly the fastest and the easiest. So be all ready. Take this seriously because it's going to be a busy day all day. I expect the sales team to be finishing at like, I don't know, late night tonight, something. Okay. How do we know which unit to select? Here's a good question. How do we know, John, which unit we should select?
One of us will just help you. The really only choice is, do you want first floor or second floor? And they both have their advantages. The second floor is just going to give you a little further view out over the ocean. First floor, you're going to be able to walk right out across the grass and down to the beach. And if it doesn't matter, they'll just pick one for you. They're all the same. They are all the same. So there's not like there's one has an advantage over the other. I personally like the second floor. So if you were asking me, John, which one should I take? I'd say I like the second floor. I just like to be able to look out and have a little more expansive view. Some people like to be able to walk right off their balcony and they feel like they own more real estate because they can walk right out into the grass and right to the ocean. So there's your answer.
And you have to decide as well if you think you want the upper level because you want, a more unobstructed view, or maybe you want the downstairs unit because you think that there might be elderly or, people who don't want to go up the stairs or wheelchair or things like that. That's a personal preference, but we'll be able to walk you through these types of things. And, based on your needs or your ideas or what you think is best, we'll work with you on this. Okay. All right. There is a picture for Yogi who asked about the interior of the furniture. I put it in the chat. Okay. It's the inside view of like the furniture itself or what the furniture is going to look like. Oh, and we've lost John's. I don't know if he's.
No, I'm still here. My picture just went out for a second. Hold on.
No problem. And I've got another espresso. I had one of my staff deliver. These ones here, these cups are from Turkey. We had these delivered. We picked those up while we were in Istanbul. And then this is the Costa Rica one from my clients. I love this one. It's the Pura Vida, but I am a big espresso drinker. Okay, so let's keep going here. Okay. Well, what is the group chat on WhatsApp? Scott, that's a private chat between me and the developers, so I can kind of keep track of what's going on. It's nothing for you to worry about. You're not missing out. I have lots of private chats with clients and developers and things like that. That's funny. Okay. How much do you think you are going to be able to rent this for? You kind of went through all of the numbers. I personally prefer not to think on a dollar amount. I prefer to think in a percentage amount because then we can compare apples to apples. Because if you do a dollar amount, this is going to be a less dollar amount than the project we did in Panama, for example, a couple of months ago. But that was a $400,000 unit, and this is a $67,000 unit. So that's a very different type of number. So the dollar amount is obviously going to be more in Panama, but it doesn't necessarily mean that the percentage amount is going to be more. So if you're doing the cash price, I think the expectation was about 11.5%, and the expectation for the financed price was going to be around 10%. These are general numbers. Nothing is set in stone. I'm not giving financial advice, legal advice, blah, 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 blah. You guys know the story. But based on their historical data of what they've seen from building properties over the last 25 years, this is a pretty educated guess, okay? I can also tell you for my unit that I purchased from them, took about 15 months. We got it into the rental program. My unit is currently renting at about 1% a month. Now, will we see, does the 1% translate to 12% a year? I'll tell you that at the end of a full year, because obviously there's seasonality. During Carnival, I was able to charge an absolute premium on it. So it was a lot higher than 1%. But in a rainy season, it's going to be slightly less. So it should average out around these types of numbers. Hope that makes sense. Okay. Can they manage the unit themselves? They have
Yes.
Airbnb experience.
Um,
Yes. There you go.
Mikhail, that's a great question. And you see me kind of shaking my head like this. Of course you can do it. I don't know who would want to unless you're living right there doing it. But you can get anyone to rent it for you. You can do it yourself. You can do Airbnb yourself. But I think the real key is when you utilize the company that is there, I think you maximize your rental opportunities and maximize your income. And that's just, through personal experience only that I say that. But yes, you can absolutely do it yourself. You're not governed or restricted by any of those things.
This is the nice thing. With all of the developments I choose, I want you guys to have all the power. I want you to have the freedom. You guys know best your personal situation, not me, not John, not the developer. If you want to rent it yourself, amazing. It's yours. You own it. Okay. You get to make decisions like this. Same thing with the furniture package. Same thing with anything like that. We in the back end have everything set up if you want to be hands off so that you can go on and do other types of things. Like I don't manage my own properties. I own lots of real estate around the world. I don't manage any of them. I don't want to. I'm so busy with other types of things. I'm out there trying to find new deals. Once I find something I really like, I go all in, I buy lots of it, I put it in a rental program, and then I'm collecting the cash flow and I'm using that and I'm putting it into more properties. I'm just building out a giant machine here of cash flowing real estate. And for me, that is a winning formula. This is exactly what I'm doing. People always ask me, but Mikhail, what are you doing? I am so transparent with you guys what I am doing. I am telling you, I am showing you what I do. I have actually bought from this developer, okay? Multiple units with the expectation to buy more units, more and more and more and more, because it's working and I like what works. Call me old fashioned. Okay,
Mikhail,
Kathy would like to know, can I buy with a USA living trust?
Yes. Yes, you can.
Amazing. There we go.
Cash is cash.
Okay, espresso done. Let's keep going. What about the security of this place? Will there be some private security around the complex? We covered this once before, but once again, for the record, John.
24/7. There is security on site 7 days a week, 24 hours a day.
Exactly. Reggie says, can you decorate your property to your taste? Some places want them all to be the same. You can decorate as you like. The property is yours. If you give it to the management company, how does it work when you want to use it yourself for vacations? Good question.
You simply call and say, listen carefully, I want to use it myself. That's as simple as it gets. Now, the first thing they're going to do is look and see if the time you want has already been rented. So you may have to honor that. But even then, they probably could move them to another unit and you could come use it. So it's your unit. You can use it whenever you want. And then the rest of the time you keep it into the rental program and they will rent it for you.
Exactly. My advice would be let them know in advance. Don't let them know like the weekend before Carnival or New Year's or something like that. Hey, I decide I want to go down. It'll already be rented. But if you tell them, a little bit in advance, then there should be no problem. It's your unit, okay? But, to be fair, if someone else is already there, or already booked it, that's their vacation. They're spending good money with you. Try to be respectful of other people as well. I think that's just good karma.
It's their vacation.
Okay, is there
a income?
Yeah, exactly. Is there a stipulation as to rental time or is nothing said? Minimum or maximum stays? This is from Scott.
I don't know that there's any maximum or minimums. You can certainly take on long-term residents if you choose to. That's a totally different ball game. These are set up for short-term rentals and short-term rental profits, which is going to be your maximum income. Long-term rentals will not yield you quite as much as the short-term rentals will, but that's at the demand of the market, to answer your
Yeah,
question.
I think an interesting market that's coming up is a lot of the digital nomads that sometimes they want to take the property for 2 months or 3 months or something like that. So you'll
Right.
take slightly less on a nightly rate, but you won't have any holes between people coming and going. So overall, the stability can be there. So this might be not short-term rentals, but mid-term rentals,
Exactly.
And with good,
Exactly.
strong internet and a fully furnished place like this, I think digital nomads would love this. I think that, they'll scoop something like this up and definitely want to stay in a place. Okay, this one is from an anonymous attendee. Are there any windmills nearby or plans for windmills to be put in place in the area? Do you know anything about windmills there?
Yes, it's a very important part of the electricity that's being generated. There are no
I think they're
windmills
more
there now.
coming
They're
at it
not
from,
allowed nearby.
yeah, I think they're more coming at it from are they going to hear this whoosh, 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 and dead birds flying all over the place
No,
on
they're
the
not
property?
allowed in this area.
Yeah, I think they have do they have the offshore ones? Not on this beach, but, further down and then more inland. I don't think that you're going to
There
have any
may be
problems
some
with that.
much, much further down, but there's no offshore ones anywhere near here.
No, yeah.
But they're extremely far away, much further down, not even, I mean, long way down.
Mhm.
And there's none here. They're
Mhm.
not allowed in this area.
Yeah, this is a tourism area. Okay, Liliana would like to see the dimensions in the areas with the slides. Maybe you can pull that one up again. But my advice, Liliana, would be to send us an email and then we'll send you a PDF so that you can zoom in and you can see everything because, it might be hard to record all of this. But any
Right.
information you need, you send us an email. We want to make sure you guys get all of the answers that you need.
I think, is that the one she was looking for?
I think so. I think so.
Yeah, it's a pretty basic plan, but again, workhorse. That's the simplest way to describe. After years and years of building, renting, being in this business, this is what being in the business 30 years does for you. It allows you to design what does the market accept. And this is important, Mikhail. It's not what you like or don't like. It's not a design that does it appeal to you or not appeal to you. If you're looking at an investment, this is what is maximized for this market, this area, this country, this culture. And so there's the simplicity of it right there. This is designed for this market.
Amazing. Some of these ones that I've already seen the question for, I'm just typing in the answers for you guys. But we're trying to get through as many questions as we could. How are we on time? Okay, we're pretty good on time. I can stay for another, 20 minutes, half an hour. Hopefully we'll get everybody the answers. Are there options in the furniture package for the decor, or is it one furniture package? Do they have option A, B, C?
No, it's just a simple furniture package. I mean, it's 10,000. By the way, that includes a lot more than what meets the eye. It's the linens, the knives, the forks, the spoons, the TVs, the refrigerator. Remember, you're just getting the unit here. So it even includes the AC system to go into the unit. Because a lot of times people will say, well, that sounds like a lot for just a bed and a couch. It's a lot more than a bed and a couch. It's everything that makes your unit rent ready. I can tell you, you probably could not come down and do it yourself for $10,000 if you flew down. I would strongly encourage you to just take the rental package and let it be done. But you can do that if you want to. And if you come down for a few weeks and you want to do a few little things different, you can do that also. Some people do it.
Great. Okay. Do you want to pull back up the email address? Because I am actually
Yep.
going through these questions. A lot of them we've answered already. So I'm trying to sort through everything. Like lots of questions about the developer and the developer website and the developer history and these types of things. We went through all of that in the presentation already at the beginning. But I would say if you guys send us an email, then we can provide anything from the due diligence package that you guys would want, ask any questions. I want to make sure you guys feel comfortable with everything. So you can go from that.
Is anybody getting hungry?
I am, no doubt. I want some of those prawns. The prawns looked real good.
Oh my God, they are the best. They are the
Next
best.
time
And
we got to
I
go
don't
down together.
needless to say, the beef down there is excellent too. But of course, we're right on the ocean here, so you're going to get a lot of seafood, and it's all going to be fresh.
Amazing. More questions here about how long down to downtown. You know, do they drive? Can they walk? Do they need a vehicle? How long? All the logistics of the area. Maybe just talk for 2 minutes on these types of things again.
Okay. Well, here's something that's interesting. There on the beach, there's there's a little shuttle that runs up and down the beach. So you could walk out of your condo, walk down to the beach, and a little dune buggy will come down and pick you up if you want it to and take you into town. So you can do that straight by the beach. You could walk it in a few minutes. The town has, several restaurants. The beach buggy shuttles, or what they call them, will come get you, or you can take your car and drive in. So there's several ways to get into town. Personally, I like the beach buggy. It's cool. They come pick you up. You cruise down the beach. If you want him to splash the water a little bit, he will. And then you're right there at the beach, and you've got restaurants right on the beach that you can eat at. And so amazing restaurants and bars, and then they'll take you home in the evening. I don't
Exactly.
even know anywhere in the
Um,
US that does that other than an Uber, and they're not taking you down the beach. They're taking you out the back roads.
yeah, you can even see the horses there in the corner of your picture. That's cute.
Yep.
By the way, a lot of those pictures, I don't know if you guys realize, those are pictures from when John actually went down there, like the pictures of the food and the beach and stuff
Yep.
like that. Those aren't Getty images or something like that. John actually went there and took the pictures. He's amateur photographer. Uh, your Instagram always has really good shots on it.
Yeah. I enjoy taking pictures. iPhones are amazing. I actually took a course, believe it or not, on iPhone photography specifically in order to get good pictures. And but the market's there. I'm a market person. I like going into the market and just getting the local stuff and getting the fresh seafood and things like that. So that's the reason why I'm kind of flashing back through these before I go back to the email.
Mhm. Okay, here's one from a while ago, but a very good question. Type of deed, registration, is it fee simple, fractionalized deed, condo, real estate 101. Basically, he wants to know how things are titled and held for
That's the
these.
best part. For those of you that have ever looked in some of the other countries, and I'll use Mexico as an example, you can't own Mexico. You can't own property on the beach in Mexico. You have to put it in a trust. The trust has to be held by the bank. Here, you get a fee simple deed to the property. It's as simple as that. And you can own it personally. You can have an LLC on it, or you can do it inside your IRA. It's quite simple to do, really. And there's no complications. There was a slide, I'll actually hit it in a minute. And I mean it when I say it. We are ridiculously easy to do business with. And I think that's what Mikhail has said in virtually everything. I just sort of reduced it down to the ridiculous by saying we're ridiculously easy to do business with. And I think that's what a lot of people like. So
This is a family owned company. This is not some big dumb corporation where you're never going to be able to work with someone.
well, I'll
These
tell you
is a
something.
family owned company and they are business owners, entrepreneurs. They want to make a deal. They will work with you on these types of things. So whatever your individual situation is. But I think also the question was, title deed. These are not these leaseholds. This is not this 20-year bank trust in Mexico and you don't really own it. You have to ask permission. Then you got to ask for permission. No, I don't do any of that kind of stuff. That's why I'm not bringing deals like that to you guys. I like titled property. I want you guys to own it. I want you to have all the power.
That's correct. So you own it outright. You do get a fee simple deed to it. You can will it. If you pass, you can leave it to somebody else. It doesn't go back to the government. It's yours, and it can stay in your family legacy and become part of your own war chest, so to speak, of properties that you're building.
Let's keep going here. And amazing. Okay. So We're going to need that waiting list, everybody. So make sure you send an email right now to get on the waiting list, because it looks like the first 30 units are gone. Something always happens. So please go ahead and join the waiting list by sending an email to expat@beachfrontoffers.com. Expat@beachfrontoffers.com. We're going to start the waiting list right now. The first 30 units are gone. Usually it happens, within an hour or two of finishing the webinar. Now it is already done during the webinar. So we're getting faster at these types of things. Thank you, everybody who's come. I'm going to stay on and try to do any more Q&A for you guys, but it looks like we've done a very good job today, John, because that's pretty funny. That's pretty awesome.
I'm going to mention one other thing, Mikhail. I own several properties in several areas around the world, and having someone manage it for you, I call them your eyes and ears. I have that at every property. I have my eyes and ears. So when somebody says, can you do it yourself? I would say, of course you can. I have learned the hard way not to do anything myself in another country. I want those eyes and ears, and I want to know that I can call someone at any time and find out what's happening with my property and my investment, and that I know them, I've met them, I can put eyes on them, and I know who I'm dealing with. And that's what you get here. And so any of us are here anytime to answer questions, return emails, make a phone call. I'm in the US, so I'm always easy to contact. But that's the reason why I say we are, literally ridiculously easy to do business with. When I came on board with the company, I changed a few things. I said, we just need to do this because this is what the American buyers are looking for. And I know we have people here from Canada, and we have a few from Europe and some other countries. We even have some from Brazil. But the US is known for being ridiculously easy to do business with. So that's where I like to think that we are today. And I think that's one of the things that you like, Mikhail. And so I like to reiterate it. So when you send that email in, all you need to do is just, once again, be sure your name is there, your phone number, how many units you want. And if I can answer a question for you, any of us on the team, we're going to do it.
Fantastic. Okay, here's a question about the HOA. What does the HOA cover, John?
Covers your water, your sewer, your garbage pickup. It can have all the landscaping, the pool, all the recreational areas, everything on the exterior of the buildings. And it also includes some reserves for future replacement of things, the roofs, but everything on the outside. The only thing you would be
security,
responsible,
a very important one. It includes
yes, it covers 24-hour security. You're responsible. The owner is responsible for their own utilities. When I say utilities, I mean electricity and internet. Those are the two things that you would be responsible for. And there will be internet here. I think this particular development already has the optical high-speed internet. So, and gas. There is gas there also.
Amazing. Okay, here's a cool question, and a first one for me. This is from my client, Harry. Harry, it's good to see you on here. Is there storage for surfboards and bikes, etc.? You don't know the answer to that.
You could bring them inside the unit. You could bring them inside the unit.
But no, there's got to be something. Let's talk to Bruno and let's find out the answer for that one.
Yeah. They're telling me yes.
We'll get back to you on that one. Yes,
there is a place for those.
Are they already answering you?
There's a shed. There is a shed. We put a shed at every property that we build. And so, yes, there would be a place for them.
There you go. See, I'm constantly learning on these presentations too. I didn't even think about it. What a cool question, but a very relevant one. Okay. Are there any options for local owner lockout closets or storage units?
You could build one in there. I don't know that you're going to want a very big one, but you could possibly have one custom built put in there, and they could do it for you at very little expense. But yes,
so many questions about cars, by the way.
There is parking available.
Can I use an Uber? Do I really need a car? A lot of people tell me that the cost of Uber is very cheap. And if I plan to stay on the site most of the time, how important is the car?
You can use Uber upon request. Yes, they're there. The beach buggy is probably my best answer. If you come and you take an Uber to the development, you're probably just going to want to do the local stuff. You can call the beach buggy. It'll come down the beach, pick you up, and then it'll take you right back up into Kanoa or anywhere right there nearby. They'll take you.
Amazing. I've got from the group chat, HOA includes internet. It does include the internet? That's interesting. The internet for the complex, Bruno, or the internet for your unit? Because he's saying HOA includes internet, water, electricity, and common area maintenance. They're typing right now. See the group chat? I get answers so fast to these types of things. All 100% included. Holy moly. That's
internet
nuts.
is a different cost there than it is in the US.
That's crazy. So they cover your internet as well. Hashtag Brazil is cheap. This is amazing. I love this deal. This deal just keeps getting awesomer and awesomer. Once again, just making up words live in front of hundreds of people. It's a word now.
I've just entered it into the Google dictionary. Awesomer.
Awesomer. You get to do these types of things when you're a podcaster. Okay. Neil says, are there capital gains on selling here? Well, nothing in life is guaranteed, but my expectation would be yes, you will make capital appreciation on your property. I can tell you from my first unit that I bought with these guys, I bought it for less than 100,000, just like you guys are buying right now. I put the furniture package in, I did the closing costs, I did all of these types of things. It's been delivered. We have the keys. We're currently renting it out. And my expectation would be if I were to sell it right now, I'd probably sell it for about 140 to 145. And I got it for less than 100. So probably about, I would say about 40% return in 18 months, 2 years, something like that. But nothing in life is guaranteed. Okay.
You know, Mikhail, I have one answer to that question. The best tax-free vehicle for people that live in the United States is a Roth self-directed IRA. And I'm telling you, I live and die by it. I've taught my daughter how to use it. You know, this is a great time to teach your kids also, if you have them, and young kids especially, a little bit about using their money and how to use it. I have used my foreign investments with my daughter to teach her, you know, what to look for and how to look for it. But she is now setting money aside. She even had a financial consultant said, oh, you need a traditional IRA. Her answer was, I like you, but I trust my dad. And my dad says, every penny I get goes into a Roth IRA. I want to pay the taxes now while I'm young, and I want everything to be tax-free when I retire. So she definitely swears by it. But the Roth IRA is definitely the best tax avoidance vehicle on the planet right now.
The other really good one is to stop being an American, to move offshore.
There's another option too.
Say goodbye to all of these types of things. Even the foreign earned income exclusion when you move offshore and you're talking, you know, $126,000 rough numbers of earned income. This is a very nice tax one. I'm not going to get into US tax strategy, but there is some work that I do with my private clients on this for we can legally do. Okay. Hey, I want to try something since I know that Bruno and Jan are in the chat group with me. I'm going to try something that I have never tried live in a webinar, especially with hundreds of people here. Hey, Bruno, we already sold out of the 30 units. Can we get 10 more units for my clients? Because that would be pretty cool. If we could get, I know that there's 50 units in the development and I was able to negotiate for 30 of them at this price. Can I negotiate with you live on air with hundreds of people? I'm going to totally put you on the spot for an additional 10 units because I think that my clients will be really awesome owners and my clients are the coolest people ever and you will love working with them and they're just all around rad human beings. Can we do this? Let's give him like a minute to kind of respond in the chat and then we'll see if he says what he says. Hopefully he's listening. Otherwise, I'm just embarrassing myself. Okay, here's a quick one from Anonymous before I check the chat. How far is the big famous water park from the site?
I'm going to say about 45 minutes. It's back up in Fortaleza in the Dumas Park area. And I've been there. Have you been there, Mikhail, to the water park?
I've not been to the water park. I should, though.
It's amazing.
I think it'd be great.
It is huge. It's the largest one in South America, I believe. It is unbelievable. And believe me, the people that will go there, this is a convenient location to them, under an hour back and forth. And they will stay in these places and still go back up to the beach park, because a hotel room there, I have stayed right on the beach there, and a hotel room right by the water park is more like $200 or $300 a night if you get right there at the water park. So they can stay, just a few minutes away, which for the Brazilians, it's not very far at all, for a third of the price. And, they'll jump up there for the day. But the water park is amazing.
Amazing. So Bruno says, go ahead. He just got us another 10 units. That's amazing. Thank you, Bruno. I appreciate it. I owe you a steak dinner, my friend. There you go. So it was 30 units live on air. I did something I've never done, and I secured another 10 units. That's like freaking hilarious. Okay. So 40 units, people on the waiting list. We will be calling right now. Michael, if you're listening to this, Michael's probably on the phone. He's not listening to this. Michael Kruger is going to be calling, and I think the rest of the team is as well. So we got another 10 units. I don't think I'm going to be able to do any more than that for you guys. So I hope you guys take advantage of it. I owe Bruno a steak dinner. You guys can buy me a steak dinner when you come down to Panama and we hang out together as a thank you for this one. But that's cool. That's fun. I might, yeah, I think that's really neat, actually. Brent says, haha, Mikkel, nice. Put them on the spot. I think they are making diamonds right now. Yeah. We're all kind of caught up in the moment. I mean, this is exciting. I love this stuff. I love this type of this thing. Like, especially when we got hundreds of people here on the line. It's like, let's put them on the spot and see what we can do. If we can get another 10 units at this discounted rate, what's the worst that can happen? Worst that can happen is they say no. So, okay. Oh, here's a good question. I'm going to answer this one myself because this is another misnomer with a lot of people they don't understand. So I'll read the question, then I'm going to answer it, and then John, you chime in, okay?
Okay.
This is to be a question to answer for most of your projects. I bought in Panama. Does the rental program envelop all units to average out income for everybody? No. What you're discussing is a rental pool. I do not work in rental pools. I work in rental programs. That means that what your unit was rented out, you get the money for this. I am a capitalist. I ain't no commie, all right? I think that if you do a great job and you get the best unit, then you should be rewarded for that. I don't want it to be going to the lowest common denominator or averaging out because of fair or anything like that. Actually, I want unfair. I want you guys to have a massive unfair advantage on all of this. This is why we're in early on all these types of things. This is why I tighten the screws and make sure we get the best developers. I want to make sure you guys have an unfair advantage on this. So we do rental programs. We never do rental pools. Full stop in all projects that I do. Does that make sense? John, anything to chime in on that one?
Well, we don't do rental pooling, so you're correct. And if you see that in other places, in the US, you're not buying real estate at that point, you're buying securities. They have to have securities license to do rental pooling. That's how complicated it becomes. And so it's a different type of investment. Here, you buy your unit, you own your unit, you own the land with the condominium. It's yours, it's fee simple, it's deeded to you. And when your unit rents, you get your income. You don't pay any management fees if your unit's not rented. In other words, if you're using it, you're not paying a management fee. And you pay the management fee only when it's rented. And so it's fee simple, owned by you. Your rent is your rent.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Okay. And I've just done a screenshot. I hope it's the correct screenshot. No, it's a different one. Hold on, I got it. Oh, is this the right one? I'm going to try to put a screenshot in the chat. I don't know if this is going to work. All right. John, you talk for a minute. I'm going to try to put a screenshot in there because this is pretty funny from Bruno and the guys.
Well,
Oh,
Um,
there we go. Yeah, I got it. Okay. So check out the chat because I put him on the spot on the 10 units. He says, go ahead, Mikkel, exclamation point. And then Jan comes back and he says, plenty of steak dinners. So there we go. It's on record. I've got a screenshot. These guys owe me dinner next time. That's so funny. All right. I think we're doing good. Should we try to wrap this up, everybody? If there's any last minute questions or you feel like I did not get to your question today, if I missed it, you put it in the chat right now. I'm going to scroll to the bottom of them. I believe we've answered, if not your exact question, we've answered it in the last nearly 3 hours of presenting. We'll put the email address up one more time so that people know where to go. This is your very last chance for getting that email address. Any last minute questions, and we'll get to those, and then let's go and enjoy our day. Let's get out there. Okay. Will there be any barbecue grills at the complex? This is Brazil. 100%. Of course, there's going to be there's going to be barbecues.
and
Mandatory.
barbecuing going on regularly.
Yeah. I mean, the Brazilian government would confiscate Bruno's passport if they didn't put barbecues in a beach area.
Exactly. Exactly.
Remember I was saying before that the beach is part of their DNA. Churrasco is also part of their barbecuing is also part of their DNA, part of their blood. That's why I love them so much. Okay. People are asking the property management split percentage wise. Do you know how it works with the split of property management?
Yes. It's a 20% management fee. You pay it only when your unit's rented, and that covers everything. And if it's a long-term rental, it's 10%. So if they get a long-term rental in there, the management fee is even less because there's less to do.
Mm-hmm. Reggie says,
and you know what, Mikhail, let me mention something else real quick for those that don't know it, because if you've never done this before, you might say, oh, 20%. I can tell you 20% is on the low end of management fees. In the US and other resort areas around the world, not just the US, it is very typical to see 25, 30, 40, and I have seen as high as 45 and 50% management fees. Now, again, they're doing more, you're getting more, but it's not unusual. 25 to 30% is not unusual at all. So I just want those that are listening today to realize 20% is a very reasonable management fee for short-term rentals.
what I like is I want to make sure that everybody's incentives are aligned. So they're only going to make 20% if they rent it a lot and for a lot of money. It's not a flat fee. It's a performance-based fee. So they're incentivized to rent it out like crazy to maximize your returns, which means they maximize their own returns. That way, their interests and your interests are completely aligned. We don't want you guys going in different directions. We're all partners in this. We all want to go in the same direction. Reggie would like to know, what is the age demographic that come to the area, please? Age demographic
of the renters?
Yes.
Is that the age demographic of the renters? It's actually a lot of family. And so you have, all age groups there. I will tell you this, in Brazil, you have a lot of family that will rent in these places, and you'll see, the age groups are there will sometimes even get a little older than a lot of places because, people there live longer and they spend more time with their family, and family is more important. But the average age is going to be, I'm going to say for your best target market would be 30 to 40 years old, coming with one, maybe two children sometimes. We have them in the 50s.
I would say it's families. That would be my expectation.
It's the simplest way to put it. It's very family oriented.
Which
I've done stuff in Panama City Beach, Florida, Mikhail, and down there, I can answer the question for you. Your rental income is coming from the college kids during spring break. You don't even want to be there during that time of the year. So it's a different world. Here, it's a family-oriented community.
Okay, here's another one. Are either of you guys, Mikkel or John, buying a unit? So I've already bought 3 units from this developer. I'm going to be buying more. I'm working on buying probably another 8 units from them because I want to have quite a large portfolio because I really believe in this. I really see what's happening. I usually do a couple units on the front end to test everything. And once it's tested, then I dump in a lot more. So I'm looking at doing another 8 units with them, which would bring us up to I'd probably do around 10 or 11 units there. And then we'll see. What about you, John? Did you buy? Have
Yes,
you? Yeah.
yes, yes. It's hard for me to not buy when I see what we're doing and how it's done. And I don't feel like I can stand here and tout great deal, say that I buy stuff all over the world and I'm not taking advantage of it myself. So
That would be
I've been
hypocritical.
working.
No, that's
So it's a good investment. I don't look at anything other than just looking at the cash flow from it, but I do enjoy going there. Cost of living there is just, you can go out to nice restaurants and have meals that are just unbelievable. And so I enjoy the lifestyle down there. It's not that I spend a lot of time there because I spread myself all over the globe, but I do enjoy going there a lot.
yeah. I try to make sure, just like I was talking about with the rental management company and your investment being congruent and being aligned, exact same thing with me. I'm not going to recommend things to you guys and go, this is a great deal, this is a great deal, and then I don't invest my own money. That would be so hypocritical. I try to invest in every single project that I recommend. I don't think there's any of the, I'm trying to think. I don't think there's anything that I've done in the last 4 years that I've presented to you guys that I haven't invested in myself. At least 4 or 5 years, I've invested in every single one of the projects. So, like I said, I've gotten rid of all of my stocks. That's why I say in the last 3 or 4 years, because I used to be invested a lot in the stock market. And then once I started selling that, I started moving everything in and I started purposefully scouting deals like this. Like I'm literally out of Panama every month, going and looking at deals and viewing deals. I probably look, I probably say no to about 19 out of 20 deals because they don't fit the criteria of what I'm looking for our community and for my own portfolio. But when I find one where it like just ticks all of the boxes, I'm like, this is it. I've found what I'm looking for, and that's why I'll buy another probably 7 or 8 units in this development. Maybe not this exact development, but on the beach next door. But with this developer, with this concept, with everything like that, I'll be having a nice sized portfolio here because, I mean, once you see it, once you test it and it works, it's just rinse, lather, repeat over and over and over and over again, and just maximize it. Okay. Okay, Neil says, do you offer help and assistance with legal structures and reporting for US residents and mitigation costs? Yes, Neil, I do. If you guys go to expatmoney.com, top right-hand corner, there's a big orange button that says work with us. There's going to be a very long form letter there. Please don't read it on your phone. Please pull up a laptop or a desktop, read the long form letter, fill out an application to work with us. We have a new head of intake at our company. Her name is Melissa. She will take a phone call with you. It's if you pass the application process, then she will take a call with you. She'll explain everything like that, and you can become a private client. Just so you're aware, my prices are at $30,000 now to work with us on all of these types of things. We do the wealth protection, we do the structuring, we do the tax mitigation, we got the lawyers, the accountants, everybody involved. We help with bank accounts, all of these types of things. My fees have gone up to 30,000. I know there's some people on here who got in under 25,000. My fees have gone up. That's just the way the world works. But yes, I'd be happy to work with you. Feel free to fill out an application and we can help you with the larger type of things. But we help lots of private clients every day. I mean, I'm 8 hours a day consulting with clients and I love the work. And it's cool to see, Jonathan on here and, who's asked some questions. He's going to become a private client. And we saw, lots of people. Kurt was on and lots of cool people here today who are private clients. So we can give you guys some testimonials, what it's like to work directly with me. I think we're think that's it. How many units total in the complex? As far as I understand, there's 50 units. We had 30. I've secured an extra 10 units, so we're going to take 40 of them for our clients. I guess they'll probably save the last ones and sell them off at a higher price point to everybody else. Any last words, John?
No, I look forward to having some new friends, meeting those that choose to come down, answering any questions for anybody that has them. You're about if this is the first time you have ventured to buy something out of the U.S., all I can do is just say, trust Mikhail. You know him. He does his homework hard and he drives good deals. But, the best thing you can do is dip your toe in the water. You won't get a better opportunity to dip your toe in the water than this. There's plenty of opportunities to dive in for $300,000, $400,000, $500,000 in any place else. But to be able to take a beachfront unit to go to dinner tonight and tell your friends that you bought a place on the beach, directly on the beach for under $100,000, your friends are not going to believe you if you've never done it before, because it's just not achievable in many places. But here it is achievable, and you're getting a good product. You're getting a really well-built, a very good location for the money. And a lot of times people will ask me, what is the catch? How can you build it at this price? And real simply, this is my answer. It's not how can we build it at this price. It's how have the prices gotten so damn high in the United States? Inflation, government regulation. And by the way, Mikhail, when you build a project like this, even a small one in the US, 30% of the cost of that project is bureaucracy cost of permitting and everything that goes around the bureaucracy cost. So if you buy a property that sells for 300, 100,000 of that went for bureaucracy costs. This is according to articles from the National Association of Home Builders and the boards of realtors around the country. And so they just don't have all that bureaucracy cost in these places. The cost of labor is less. The cost of materials are less. We're not shipping things in from China. We're not shipping things in from other parts of the world. Everything here is sourced locally. The labor is local. And it's the cost of living here is just a different world than what we've gotten used to in the United States. So to back that answer up, it's not why do we sell it at this price? It's how have things gotten so doggone expensive in the United States. And it's just, they're out of control there. That's all there is to it. And this is just another proof positive of what exists outside of the backyard. So there's sort of my closing comments.
I mean, take your US dollars or whatever currency you have and purchase in a place like this where your currency goes a lot further. I mean, this is geo arbitrage. This is at the crux of what we're doing. I'm scouting out deals like this at really attractive price points, understanding that you have a valuable currency right now, which has a very favorable exchange rate. So get in while you can, because I can't guarantee the exchange rate is going to stay like this forever. I had just someone who said, oh, I'll buy in a few years from now. Well, prices are not going to be like this in a few years.
The dollar's
path
strong.
of progress is going up. Dollar is super strong. Get your money out of risky commercial banks or risky overblown stock markets or manipulated markets and get it into something tangible like this while you can at attractive price points. I mean,
yeah,
that's what I'm doing. Okay, so I hope that this presentation was valuable to you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed yourself. I hope that you learned lots today. We try to make it as educational as possible and understanding, getting out of the backyard, investing outside of your backyard, what that looks like. So I think it is a very solid real estate thesis, and it's one that I'm working on for many years now. And I know John has been as well, and we can both certify, we can both give testament to the success in these types of things. So I hope this has been valuable to you guys. If you guys want any more information, if you feel like you didn't get your questions answered, or maybe you have questions that you didn't want to ask in a public format like this, then no problem. Shoot us an email, expat@beachfrontoffers.com. And the team is going to be doing callbacks all afternoon. Please make sure you have your phone turned on, your volume at maximum, and let's do this. If you're listening to the recording of this down in the future, then still send us an email, get on the waiting list, and if any units come back, then you will be first in line for those. John, thanks very much for your time. Brent says, thanks, John and Mikkel, for everyone. Cheers. Thank you for getting to know this opportunity. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you very much. Okay, guys, have a great rest of the day. I'll talk to you soon. Thanks so much. Bye.